This is a Miami Sports Music Podcast Network production. This is the #1 Miami fan morning show. Clock Blockers, let's go.
I know the whole city rising. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter college. Whole squad been trained to go. Fins for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. My intuition told me this. To trust the coach, he holds the gift. He knowing when to go with fit. So we knowing when to switch. This year we got the golden pick. Time to see what that pick about. Bad vibes get sent out.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Stephen D, and this is the #1 Miami fan morning show. Clock Blockers, good morning. It is Throwback Thursday, March the 23rd, 2023. We are live, Rex in effect, here today on Clock Blockers. What is going on? I'm your host, Stephen D. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Stephen D SKPL. Spread kindness, positivity, and love. You can do that right there. You can also follow Miami Sports Music everywhere at Miami Sports Music, except where we are on Twitter at MIA Sports Music. Make sure you all do that. Follow us there. Hey, look, if you want to hit that like button, hit the like button. Donate to the channel, help the channel grow, but subscribe to the channel. It's free. It doesn't cost to hit the like button. It doesn't cost to subscribe. Those things help. They go such a long way into helping the channel grow, and they're absolutely free. So on your way in today, make sure you hit the like button. If you're rewatching us, hit the like button. And if you're not already subscribed, subscribe. It helps. It helps the channel grow. It helps the channel move forward. If you do want to help the channel grow, you can also become a member of the channel, which is absolutely great. We love that. If you want to sign up and get access to perks and different things and help the channel grow on a consistent monthly basis, you can do that using the YouTube membership. And what you can do there is you can click the link. I just dropped it in the chat. It's also in the description below if you're rewatching this where it says membership next to it. And you can hit that and join this channel to get access to perks. There's a couple different tiers. If you're already a member, you can upgrade your membership. We have different and bigger tiers. If you're not already a member, but you love watching us every day, click it. Help us out. It goes such a long way into helping the channel grow. Another thing that you guys can also do, and ladies, you can also help the channel grow by donating itself. Well, how do I do that, Stephen? Well, there's a couple different ways. If you're watching us live right now, you can hit the YouTube live super chat or super sticker. If you're in the chat watching us live, you'll see a $sign inside of a box. You click that. It's right below the bottom of the chat, okay? And when you click it, you can hit super sticker or super chat. You can do whatever amount of money you want to do. You can put a message in there if you want, if you do super chat, and you can let us know anything you want to do. If you're not watching this live right now and you're watching us on replay, you can also do super thanks. Super thanks is awesome as well. Why is that? Because it's got a heart sign with a $sign in the middle right below if you're watching this on replay and not watching us live right now. And you can hit it just like that. And, it's such a good way to help the channel grow as well. If you don't want to give on YouTube, because YouTube takes out, X number of dollars or X number of percent in there, and you want to make sure more of the money goes to Miami Sports Music and myself, you can use Cash App, which is $MSM Podcast Network, or use the QR code that's right on your screen. Or you can use PayPal, which is also MSM Podcast Network, or use the QR code that's right on your screen. I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors of the show, ZSM Sports. ZSM Sports is the #1 place to get your cards, jerseys, balls, and hard to find items. Make sure you follow ZSM Sports today. Hangry Owls, good food, good mood, craft subs and salads since 2018. We love Hangry Owls. They're located in Pembroke Pines. If you want to give them a call and let them know you're on your way to get the best subs and desserts, give them a call at 305-279-5332, and make sure you follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Hangry Owls, HANGRYALS. Adam Sadowski, check it out. Gifted in a Miami Sports Music membership. Manza Chill was gifted a membership by Adam Sadowski. Shout out to Adam Sadowski. Love it, man. Love it. All right. Well, let me go ahead and let me add you as a moderator, Mr. Manza Chill. Love it. Welcome, Manza, to the family. And shout out to Adam Sadowski for gifting a membership, one membership to Manza. I love it, man. That's what it's all about. We're about family here, and I love it, man. It's great stuff. Vasasaur, good. Absolutely. If you're in the Wynwood, Miami area, you have to go to Vasasaur Brewing Company. They got great food. They got great beers. They have a whole bunch of beers. But you know what else they have? Born and Raised, the official beer of Clock Blockers. It is a beer that was made for the fans, by the fans, for the Dolphins. We love it. It's good stuff. I loved it. I've had a lot of it. I got some Vasasaur right here. I got this awesome bottle of La Perfecta. There was only a certain amount of bottles made. It's the 1972 50th anniversary golden ale. I'm just going to keep this thing, man. I happened to have the opportunity to drink some of it. It was great stuff. But right now, this is just going to sit up on my shelf. And there was only 347 of these made. 347 of these made. So bottled in October of 2022. It's good stuff. If you want to taste some Vasasaur and all their awesome beers, make sure you guys go check them out today. Okay, Vasasaur Brewing Company. We love it. They're great, and it's good stuff. Hey, a great place to sit.com is another place that you guys can go to. Why? Because if you want to get a ticket to the hottest game, concert, or event, a great place to sit.com is the place to go. You go check it out, and the price you see is the price you get. And here's the best part about a great place to sit.com. If you see a ticket that you like and it's already a good price, you know what you can do because you're a listener of this show? You can give them a call at 954-989-7979, and you can let them know, hey, look, I want to use the code word DWA so I can get 5% additional off on my tickets. So go to a greatplacetosit.com for anything, NASCAR, concerts, sporting events, baseball, football, basketball, you name it. A greatplacetosit.com is the place to go. We love it. They're absolutely amazing. We couldn't have a better ticket sponsor with us, and we love them there. Greatplacetosit.com. We love them. They're absolutely great. All right, and last but certainly not least, Tail Greeter. Tail Greeter. Download the app today on your current Apple or an Android device. Team Android all day. Let's go. They're absolutely amazing. They're one of the best people to work with. If you love tailgating, if you love NASCAR, if you love baseball, if you love softball, I'm talking about college softball, college baseball, you love college football, obviously. And obviously, if you love the Miami Dolphins, Tail Greeter is the place to tailgate. They got tailgates all over the country at all these major sporting events, and Tail Greeter is the place to go. So you download the free app. You look at the concert or event that you're going to, concert, game, whatever, and you say, man, where's the closest tailgate that I can go look something up? And you type it in, and you see what's right there in your area. This year, as we do every single year, Miami Sports Music, the Tail Greeter pregame show, East 32 Dolphins tailgate. We love Cameron. Cameron's not joining me today, but we love Cameron. Cameron's absolutely amazing, and Tail Greeter is the place to get your tailgate tickets for East 32 Dolphins tailgate. And if you're also going to be doing an away games this year, you know that we are having a tailgate extravaganza. We're having a tailgate concert, a tailgate tour, mind you, in Washington, D.C., at the FedEx, for the FedEx takeover that we're putting together, the Philadelphia Finvasion, and the Baltimore Beatdown. Absolutely awesome. Great events, great 3 events, all in, the surrounding area here where I live. And we're going to be putting on meet and greets the night before, tailgates the morning of the game. It's going to be awesome. So make sure y'all do that. It is good stuff. All right. Man, I'm super excited. Today is Throwback Thursday, hence why I'm wearing my Mark Duper jersey, the Marx Brothers, baby, and I got the throwback hat on. It's all about Throwback Thursday, but today we're going to go only 1 year ago. We're going to go back in time to when Cheetah, a.k.a. Tyreek Hill, was traded to the Miami Dolphins today, 1 year ago. It was a lot of fun, and we're going to get into it. But let me say hello to the people in the chat this morning, because I haven't said hello to people in the chat. Want to say hello to Chef Zhu, my brother from another mother, Marino's Goat, Kane's 1989, PJ Mack is in the building, Bob Young, 182 days until kickoff. I agree. Alan M, my man Alan, I missed you, buddy. How you been, man? Alan M is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Man's a chill, now part of the family. Super excited that you're here this morning. Jose Valdez. See what happens when you just show up and you get to hang out? You get gifted free memberships. Hey, Adam, I don't know how you did that, but if you could put it in the chat, maybe for other people that are already members that want to gift other members the opportunity to become temporary members so that eventually they may become members on their own. You should do that. Let them know how to do it. It's awesome. Who else we got up in here this morning? We got Trucker Sean is in the building. Love Trucker Sean. G Clemente 3472 is in the building. Who else we got up in here? I just want to make sure I say hello to everybody today. That's all I'm trying to do. Adam Sadowski, obviously. JD the Great One. Good morning, Stephen D. No, good morning to you, JD the Great One, because you are great and you're here and I love it. Manza Chill says, forever grateful. I love it, man. That's all what it's all about. It's about family with a PH. The White Carlton Stanton. What is up, baby? How are you? Super excited that you're here this morning hanging out with us. Amicus says, I protest Manza as moderator. He hates Bill's Mafia. Well, most people do, Amicus. Most of us here do, just so you know. But there are some of you that I guess are okay. But yeah, most of you, you can just go. Okay. Jets gang too. You just go. Patriots, just go. Okay. But I know sometimes you don't have an awesome channel like the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network to go to. I'm just saying. I get it. I understand why you come here, because you guys don't have that at your own homes. So you come into our home and see what we have, and you're like, man, this place is nice. You guys have nice countertops, and you guys have nice hardwood floors. We love it here. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Look at Chef Zhu gifted a membership. Adam E was gifted a membership by Chef Zhu. And I got to make Adam Key a temporary moderator. Let's go. Let's go. Look at everybody giving today. This is, you know what? We're going to call this Giving Thursday. Giving Thursday. I love it. And I'm all about it. Who else is up in here this morning? Von Joe says, good morning, Stephen D. SKPL. This is an extremely easy question to answer. It did absolutely nothing last year. It did very little. Pre-heel 9-8, post-heel 9-8. Von Joe. You know me by now. I'm going to have a lot more comebacks for that. So just wait. You just relax, sip your tea or your coffee, whatever you're sipping on this morning. You were sipping tea yesterday, so I assume you're probably still sipping. You know what? I'm going to sip some water. Probably sipping tea today again, aren't you? Okay. Don't worry about it. I got my comebacks for you. Kane's Heat says, Steven, what do you think about the Jets loading up on offense with already a great defense? Oh, we're going to get there. Keep that, Kane's Heat, keep that question on deck. Okay. Matter of fact, I'm going to put a star next to it so that I come back to it later. Okay. Don't you worry about it. I'm going to come back to it later. We're going to have a Q&A later with me. Okay, but I got a lot of stuff to get to this morning, but I want to make sure I get to it. Dade County WAP is in the building. My man Dade County WAP is the man. Chef Zhu with another membership. Robert was gifted a membership by Chef Zhu. Man, Robert out here back as a member. Robert was a member back in the day, I think, but now he's back because Chef Zhu gifted him a membership. Look at that. I love it. New members gifted by other members. This is the family I'm talking about here. Keep the train going today. Let's see all gifted members today. If you're a member, give somebody a membership today. I like it, Chef Zhu. Thank you. Keep that train rolling on the ring. Okay, I'm not going to sing. I already sang. I apologize. I know you guys weren't here for that. But I do have a voice, right? I have a voice. Doesn't have to be a good one. It's a voice. Anyways, Daniel Taylor, good morning. I know I'm taking a long time to say hello, but I just, I got to appreciate you, the fans who stop by here live every day to hang out with me on the number one Miami fan morning show. So Daniel Taylor, good morning to you, man. Bless you. Good morning. Let's see here. G, I think I already said hello to you, but I'll say hello again. I can see the light. Good morning, Stephen. I can see the light clearly now. Okay. I know. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sing because I see the viewers going down as I'm singing. I don't want that. I don't want that. Okay. What else? Daniel Taylor, Fins Up, Fins Nation. Good morning. Clemente 347 says, thanks, Doc. Keep Pete and his family in your prayers. Yes. Let me throw that out there. I'm glad you brought that up, Clemente. Thank you. So Pete's Take, who we all love and all think is crazy, but he's a member of our family. He's our crazy, okay? He's our guy. He's part of our, fan base. Whether some of us might like it or not, Pete is a part of us. And can't nobody else outside of the fan base tell how crazy Pete is except for us, okay? We love Pete. Pete had a death in his family, a close member, and it's really hitting him hard. He put it up on social media, and I just want to give a big shout out to Pete and just let Pete know, brother, if you're listening, I love you. If you're just listening right now, guys, reach out to Pete on Twitter. Just let him know that you're thinking about him. I think he's going through a difficult time right now, and I just want to say, I love you, Pete. You're the man, brother, and you might have the craziest takes in the world, and you do, and I disagree with 98% that comes out of your mouth, but I'm glad that you're here on a daily basis, man, and I miss you, brother, and hope you get what you need, and I can't wait to see you back here, man. So, love you, Pete. Keep it up. All right. What else we got? But I think you have to be a member in order to gift memberships. You do, because Jeff Shue just gifted another membership. Q just became a member. What? And Adam Sadowski just gifted another membership to Miss Fins. What? Boy, we out here. The people just gifting memberships today. I love it, man. If you're a member of the channel, gift somebody a membership today. Let's go. Let's go. I love it, man. Come on, Steven. Our patch channels suck. That's true. That's true. You're right. You're right, man. JD the Great One says, thank you, Steven. I'm going to get through everything. I just enjoy hanging out and talking with you sometimes. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'll put a link if you're watching right now that you can go fast forward to when we start talking about the Dolphins. I'll do it in a minute. But as I keep going, new people keep coming up, and I want to say hello to them. I can't just neglect the people that just come in here now. New Finland is up in here. I think I saw my man Kurt up in here. Did I see my man Kurt? I thought I saw my man Kurt. New Finland is in the building. Ronnie N, CCRR, just like Tua handing out footballs on Christmas Day. Man, I know. I love it. Love it. Absolutely love it. What else, man? I'm starting a gifting train. LFG. Let's freaking go, baby. Love it. What else we got? In the trenches. Good morning, beautiful people. Let's have another move break day. I'm not mad at it. I'll be all about it. Cesar Diaz is in the building. If you're already a member of the channel, it looks like there's a gift train going on this morning. Multiple new members gifting from old or current members. Let's go. Keep the gift train rolling on memberships. If you don't know how to do it, guys who are gifting memberships, Adam Sadowski, Chef Zhu, tell the current members how to gift memberships so we can get all these people members. That's how we grow. We multiply. We don't divide. We multiply. What? Aldo's in the building. Love Aldo. Guys, remember Hangry Owls. That's Aldo, man. We love Aldo. Aldo's amazing. What else we got up in here? Lewis. My brother from another mother. What's good, Stephen D? Hope all is well, homie. No, all is great. I woke up this morning. Okay? I like it. S. Harris says, condolences to Pete and his family. Yes. Shout out to Pete. We love Pete. We don't like his takes, but we do love him. J.R. Black. Let me see here. Roadrunner. praying for Pete. Raul, morning to all. Kevin Lee, what's good? Stephen, no, what's good, Kevin Lee? All right. New breed there. I knew my man Kurt was in here. For those of you who don't know, Kurt's the man. We love Kurt here. Let's see here. Batman is in the building. Good morning, amazing people of the Fins community and Stephen D. Batman. Superman is better. I said it. Yep. Superman is better. I love you, Batman. But I'll take Clark Kent all day over Bruce Wayne. Let's go. Members all in the chat. Join hands. Start a membership train. Membership train. Let's go. Hold hands. Sing Kumbaya. Kumbaya. Okay, never mind. Manza Chill says, how do I gift someone a membership? Reach out to Adam Sadowski and Chef Shu. They will tell you how to gift a membership. But let's get the membership train rolling. I like it. Shake Money says, good morning, my neighbors. It's another beautiful day in Zamunda. Triple S Podcast is in the building. Thanks for the love on Twitter. Dude, you want to know why I did that real quick, Shake Money? Let me tell you. So, I don't mind getting a little messy this morning. I love, one of the best things I ever have had the opportunity to, by the way, hit that like button. Only 26 likes, 75 of y'all in the building. Hit the like button. Let's keep it up. One of the best things that I love in the community is you, the fans. Seriously, I've gotten to know some amazing people through this community. I never would have met Von Joe. I never would have met Lewis. I never would have met El Capitan, Color, Batman, CB83, Nando Talk, The Smoke Show, Dougley Do-Wrong, TD Fins Talk, the Fins Tailgate, the entire crew of the Fins Tailgate, so I don't leave anybody out. Dolphins United, Kyle Krabs, Daniel Oyefusi, Cameron 954, my brother, Solo D. Without Dolphins fans, without this community, I never would have met you guys. So I created this opportunity because it was an opportunity for me to get fans to come together more. Now, what I have realized in the 2.5 years of doing this show is that people have different opinions about how they look at the channel. Cruz, I know I forgot Larry. I didn't forget him. I could not find him on Twitter until he reached out to me. So I did write him a tweet back. I love Larry, just so everybody knows. Okay. But to keep it going, what I'm meaning to say is there are some people in this, and by the way, I know I've left out a lot of people, and I apologize. I don't mean to. Not only in the tweet, but just right now. But the fact of the matter is, I'm trying to get to a point. I sent out that tweet because there are certain people within this community that believe they're the only good people in this community, and that they're the smartest people in this community, and that everybody else is stupid, or that certain people shouldn't have content, channels, Twitter, spaces, whatever. You don't have to agree with everything everybody says. There's a good portion of my fan base, and I don't mean to say it like that, but look, fans that come here on a daily basis that don't like TD. I love TD. TD is my brother from another mother. I would do anything for TD. Y'all need to know that. And even the people that don't like him need to understand that man is a family man. That man helped this channel grow. That man helped me with learning how to do YouTube. He, at the beginning, that first year, there were nights he would stay up with me till 1 a.m. in the morning on a thing. Hey, man, all right, look, let me show you how Twitter, or let me show you how YouTube works. Let me show you how, the hashtags and how everything works and the ins and outs. I would not be where I'm at even remotely close today without Twitter, or without Twitter, without TD. And Dougley's the same way, because Dougley has too. So when somebody new comes into the building, into the community, I want to help. I'm unfortunately, I'm not as good as these guys. I don't have the mass following of 40,000 and 30,000 followers, but one day I will. I got 10,000. I'm getting there, right? Like I'm loving what I do, but it's a village. I like what Amicus just said. It takes a village. But I have been noticing that there have been some vocalized people within the community that want to tear others down. When the Fins tailgate and I go at it, it's all fun. It's all love. It's all respect. It's all fun. There's no real beef. There's no real drama. Same thing with TD and I. Because we know that some of our fans don't like each other, and we get it going. The same thing with Doug and TD. They know it. But I cannot stand. I'm going to drop the link to become a member. I see you, Concrete. I cannot stand the quote-unquote gatekeeping that certain people within this community try to have. Who the hell are you to say who should not and who should have a channel? Who the hell are you to say this person has great content and this person doesn't? You can have your opinions, and there's nothing wrong with opinions. We've talked about that in debating about how we feel about Tua, how we feel about this football team, so on and so forth. But to come out and outright on your platform and talk trash, just straight talk trash about somebody else, there's no need for it. And karma, quote unquote, I'm about to cuss. Y'all can pay my swear jar if you want. You don't have to. Karma is a bitch. What comes around goes around. You treat others how you want to be treated. So anytime you've seen somebody on my channel, it's because I've had respect for them and I show them that respect. It doesn't mean they always put it back on me, and that's fine. I can respect and understand that. I know everybody doesn't like me. But what I am sick of is words hurt people. Words hurt people. They do. And so y'all need to understand that look, man, suicide rate is the biggest it's ever been. I talk about suicide rate all the time. 9888 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. There's always somebody out there for you. The last thing we need within this community is to tear each other down. We can say, hey, look, I'm not a big fan of this person. I don't necessarily like this person or how they go about choosing to do their business. That's fine. Don't listen to them. But don't talk trash about them out in public. I love stand-up comedy. I talk about this with stand-up comedians all the time. There's certain stand-up that's for somebody, and there's certain stand-up that's not for others. Right? Right. I love each and every person. And by the way, there's certain people in this community, I'm going to be honest, that I'm like, they do a show or they have content where I'm like, I'm glad that they're following their passion, but this might not be what they're meant to do. But that doesn't mean that, I ever have to go out and publicly and say anything negative about him. And I will go on anybody's platform that asks me to go on. And only a few people have, and that's fine. But what I'm saying is I want everybody to know that they're loved. And that if you love the Dolphins or you have a passion for it, man, create a YouTube channel, create a Twitter space, go on Twitter and start talking about them. Follow your passion, and don't let nobody in this community gatekeep you or tell you that you're not good enough. Don't let anybody ever do that. Real talk. And so I made that tweet last night, and I knew there was some people that I would leave out that I knew that I would have loved to have put in that tweet. But there were certain people that tweet was directed towards too. And I'm never going to name names. That's not who I am. But I will tell you that that's not what I'm about. We do the banning and the timeout as a fun thing. If you think it's anything more than that, then I'm sorry. This channel's not for you. Because we have a fun time. Who gets kicked out the most on this channel? Pete. Pete loves it. There are certain people that might not like it, but who cares? I'm just not going to feed into the negativity. And here, it's spread kindness, positivity, and love. And so I think we as a community need to get together and say, I love you, man. You don't have to like their content, but I love you. Shake Money, I know you've invited me. I'm coming on your show. I promise, Shake Money. Hit me up again. We will get a date on the books and a time. I promise, Shake. But I love you all. I love the viewers who watch. I love the people that support. I love the people that just hit the like button. I love the people that just come and watch and don't do anything. I love the people that gifted memberships this morning. I have loved the people that have sat here and just supported the channel since day one, or people that just found me. And that's what this channel's about. Cruz says, stop talking about Bills fans indirectly, Stephen. They might think we aren't talking about them. Cruz, I'm not talking about Bills fans. Not this time. Not this time. And Caslin, I'm not putting anybody's name out there. I appreciate your donation. This isn't directed towards any one person. It really is not. There's certain people that it might be directed towards, but it's not directed towards any one person. I think this is for anybody and everyone who needs to hear this. Everyone. Everybody needs to hear this. So that's why I'm saying it on my platform and screaming at the top of my lungs and making tweets like, hey, man, I love y'all. I didn't feel the love yesterday, Stephen, when I was dragging during our debate yesterday, but I can understand an A-whooping would make you feel away. Whatever, man. All right. I'm off my soapbox. Just know nobody in this community should tell anybody how to run their channel, how to run their content, how to run their Twitter page. If you feel like you need to do that, then you're not worth my time anyway. And I would like to think that, look, it's easy to just turn something off. Do content about yourself, man. Do your content the way you want to do it. Don't talk about anybody on how they run their content. And maybe I'm being a hypocrite for saying that in that way. Hey, look, you're sitting here talking about how other people. I don't see the fact. I don't see how it helps to talk about somebody else's platform. I just don't. And it's stupid. Okay. I'm done. Not going to say no more about it. All right. 33:43. Make sure I make a mental note of that when I do my timestamps. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Let's go. Let's talk about the show today. Today's show, Throwback Thursday, 1 year ago, the Dolphins trade for Cheetah. How has this helped or hurt the Miami Dolphins as we move forward? Man, look, when the Dolphins fired Brian Flores a little over 1 year ago, and I didn't know the direction that the team was going to head in. It's not that I thought I didn't see it coming. I knew that there was turmoil in the front office. I knew that there were a lot of things that needed to be addressed within the front office of this franchise. And I knew the other thing that really bothered me about this franchise was the revolving door that was GMs, head coaches, quarterbacks. And we can say whatever we want about this franchise, but the one thing that I think we can all agree on is in order to succeed, you need continuity. You need consistency and continuity. Front office, head coach, quarterbacks. Because if you don't have those things, you're never going to build a relationship. You're never going to build a foundation to help you get to that next level. You're just not. The reason that championship teams, for the most part, there are exceptions to the rule, so don't bring up exceptions. But the reason that championship teams are champions is because they have spent so much time and effort into building them that way, forging those relationships, having smart people in certain positions, GMs, head coach, hell, even quarterbacks. All right. Now you don't necessarily need a great quarterback to win. Again, there are exceptions to the rule everywhere. Quarterback, GM, head coach, right? But consistency and continuity is the best way to build a foundation for a championship. I think we can all agree on that. So the one thing I wanted, no matter what the issue was going to be, is I just want everybody to be on the same page. For once in this franchise history, let's just have people on the same page. So we go out and get Mike McDaniel. Again, he would not have been my first choice. Now, out of the 7 previous head coaches or 6 previous head coaches before McDaniel, probably 4 or 5 of them, I was like, yeah, let's go. I'm ready. I'm stoked. Flores, stoked. Was stoked for Flores. Right? I can admit Adam Gase, I was even a little excited for. Man, okay, all right, let's go. Let's see what we can do. You know? But at the end of the day, I knew McDaniel was never my first choice, but I knew I was okay if the Dolphins chose to go in that direction because it was where there was an issue, the offense. We needed to address the offense. Cannot win a championship without having a good offense. Okay, again, there are exceptions to the rule. I understand this. Now, he decided to draft Tua as your quarterback at number 5 overall the previous year before. You can't necessarily give up on him after 1 year. Your head coach. I'm not saying you can or you can't. I'm just saying, from my personal opinion, I don't think that you should, or, you know, unless you just know that person was just straight trash, a.k.a. Josh Rosen. Sorry, Josh. Love you, buddy. But there's a reason you've been on 4 teams in 5 years and then didn't make it to any other team after that. Okay? So I think it was 3 teams in 4 years, something like that. But nonetheless, top 5 pick, you don't necessarily get rid of right away. So the GM chose to get rid of the head coach, find somebody who was willing to work with his top 5 pick. Found Mike McDaniel, who was willing to work with Tua. Good, bad, or indifferent. This is not what the debate is. The conversation is he found somebody that was willing to work with his quarterback. All right, head coach, what do you need else to be successful? Well, I need a star player. Give me somebody who can be absolutely dynamic and just make a total difference on this offense. All right, will Tyreek Hill work? Yeah. When the Tyreek, I remember for years, people would bring, man, if we had Derrick Henry, we had Jalen Ramsey, we had, Tyreek Hill, the Dolphins would be such a different team. And I remember saying all the time, our front office isn't smart enough to go out and get those guys. And there's no way in the world the Dolphins would ever get them. Just wouldn't happen. I said that specifically about Tyreek Hill, Derrick Henry, and Jalen Ramsey for years. 2 of those 3 guys are currently on the Dolphins roster now. Absolutely amazing to me. I understand that, there are things that I don't want to get into the offensive line conversation personally yet. But when Tyreek Hill was traded last year, I was stoked. I couldn't believe that we could take a player and as amazing and as dynamic, go out and get him for what we got him for, which was for nothing. Well, it wasn't for nothing. We traded something for him, but it wasn't as much as I thought we'd have to give up for him. And then get him to come here and then love South Beach and Florida and the quarterback. And I know some of you are like, oh, man, this guy, all he does is talk up to it. Man, that guy is a leader. Tyreek Hill is a leader in the locker room, on the field, off the field. That man is a leader. So we talk about record 9-8, right? That's a team record. Let's talk about the year before Tyreek Hill was here, shall we? 404 receptions. 3,936 receiving yards, right? And a total of 21 touchdowns. Okay? 404 receptions, 3,936 receiving yards, and 21 touchdowns in 2021. Okay? Now, what happens? Tyreek Hill gets traded to the Dolphins 1 year ago today. Now we're sitting here 1 year later. Well, what changed, Steven? Man, well, let me tell you what changed. Are you ready? 368 receptions, less receptions, 4,765 yards with our starting quarterback out. for what, 5 games? So we had 800 more yards receiving. And we went from 21 touchdowns to 30 touchdowns. So what did Tyreek Hill do? Productivity on offense went up. We had 2 wide receivers at over 1,000 yards. The last time that happened, Mark Duper, Mark Clayton, the Marks brothers. I get you want to talk about the win-loss record. I see it in the chat. I get you. But understand Tyreek Hill and made a significant difference in how this offense is run, the productivity it can have, and how they move forward. And here's the best part about all this, ladies and gentlemen. The Dolphins this offseason have gotten better. I get that we need to address the O-line. Nobody's sitting here talking about that right now. I've been talking about that for weeks. Yesterday. I don't want to have that conversation right now. What I want to do is I want to go back and look how significant the Tyreek Hill trade was. If Tyreek Hill was not here last year, there is no way that we improve on yards from receptions, having less receptions and 9 more touchdowns. It just doesn't happen. Tyreek Hill makes a difference when he's on the field, ladies and gentlemen. Whether he's getting the ball or he's not, he allows Jalen Waddle to have better coverages against certain players. He allows other players to have one-on-one matchups against mediocre people in the secondary. So yes, Braxton Berrios should have a better year this year. Yes, if Cedric Wilson stays, he should have a better year this year. Yes, hopefully Eric Ezukanma can grasp the playbook like he wasn't doing last year and set himself up for a really good year this year. I'm excited for where this offense is. And by the way, it should also set up for the rushing as well. If you're looking at it from that standpoint, which I am. Last year, 442 rushes, 1,568 yards. And by the way, that's attempts. So hold on. Let me just make sure. Yes, so 442 attempts, 1,568 yards in rushing. All right, and 12 touchdowns last year rushing. 390 yards, okay? So 50, 60 less touches. All right, and 1,686 yards in the same amount of touchdowns, 12. My hope on many different levels, bringing in Butch Berry, somebody that Mike McDaniel trusts. Now he doesn't have to worry about Frank Smith being in the offensive line room, right? Now he also is able to say, okay, Frank Smith, let's sit here. Let's figure out what we need to do. What are the moves we need to make? If they can figure out a way to improve this offensive line, all the numbers that I have just talked about, rushing, passing, receiving, all of it should go up this year. And there's 2 things that help that. There's multiple things, not just 2. Actually, there's multiple. It's not just 2. 2 is health, right? I can admit that. Because, by the way, those numbers on the passing, on the receptions, the receiving on the reception side, so significant, even not having your starting quarterback for 5 games. That's crazy. On less receptions and gone up, crazy. So we could talk about the offense. The offense significantly improved receiving, passing, and slightly improved rushing last year. But you can't say the offense didn't get better. And now the defense has taken 5 steps forward, going out, getting Jalen Ramsey, bringing in Vic Fangio, bringing in David Long, being able to retain people like Nick Needham, being able to bring in somebody like Deshaun Elliott. This team, we were 9-8 last year. Yes, I get it. We were 9-8 the year before that. Yes, I get it. Yes, I understand that we have the second hardest schedule in the NFL next year. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to tell you the Miami Dolphins will be better record-wise, defensively, and offensively next year because everything lines up for that to be the case. It does. We now have taken some stuff off of Mike McDaniel's plate from year 1 to year 2. He now has more support in the coaching staff on the offensive side. He's learned, hopefully, and by the way, some of this is hope, right? He's learned from his mistakes. Okay, Matt Applebaum wasn't the guy. Let me bring in somebody I do know and I do trust, Butch Berry. I don't need Frank Smith or even myself to sit in an offensive line meeting because I know how this guy operates. I know how he works, and I'm not worried about it. Now I can get Frank Smith to help me run the offense a little bit more. Now it's not just me sitting in front of the playbook in front of the TV screen. Oh, yeah, by the way, I also have top 3 defensive coordinator in the entire league, if not the best defensive coordinator in the entire league. Not only is he going to improve my defense, he's going to help me game plan offense for playing against certain defenses. Tua has a second consecutive year with this playbook. He's not learning a new offensive coordinator. He's not learning a new offense. He is getting another year under his belt with the same offense and some of the same offensive people. Doesn't have new running backs, all the same running backs. I don't have to worry about how I hand the ball off to somebody. I know how these guys operate. I don't have to worry about the wide receivers for the most part. I know how they like to catch the ball. I know where they want it. They understand how I throw the ball, whether it's spot throwing or whatever. Who cares? They know how each other operates. And having a whole other year under your belt is going to make this team better. And Tyreek Hill having the best year of his career, numbers-wise, guys, come on, let's go. Let's go. How can you not be excited? Tyreek Hill trade was the best thing that happened to this franchise in the last 25 years because it accelerated where the Dolphins are going for the future. It did. And if you feel otherwise, I'm sorry for you. But the Dolphins are set up for success like no other in the history of the franchise. I even say even in the early 70s when we won Super Bowls, I still think that this team is still set up for more success. All right, well, you can't do 5 a days or 4 days, whatever Don Shula was running. But nonetheless, everything is set up for success this year. If we fail this year, I will say that. If we fail, it's not all going to be on Tua. It's not going to be all on McDaniel. It's not going to be all on Chris Greer. It's going to be on everybody. And everybody will take the fall for it. But I do not believe that has happened. I don't. Nor do I believe that that's the route or direction that this team is going in. A lot, not just 1 or 2 things, a lot would need to go wrong next year for this to be just a complete shamble. And I understand we're Dolphins fans, and I understand we think that's where our luck is. I get it. I understand it. I understand it. Jose Valdez says, Tiger King Feeney is our savior this year. I'm not mad at that. Cruz Ruiz says, Liam Eichenberg is trash. I get it. Look, it's funny. Everybody's tweet here is about the offensive line. I know where our weaknesses are. I'm not talking about our weaknesses, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about our strength. And our pulse, our heartbeat is because of the Tyreek Hill trade. And that is a direct result of bringing in Mike McDaniel, who told his GM, go give me a playmaker. Go give me somebody I can have a dynamic offense around. Tyreek Hill, go get him. Go get him. How can you not be excited about what's happening in South Florida? Yes, the Jets are getting better. I understand that. I respect it. They should. That trash of a franchise. And I know Jets fans that are watching right now. I'm sorry to dog your team. I'm not. I hate the Jets. Some of your fans are decent, but I hate the Jets. Some of your fans are also bad too. But the Bills, they've been at the top of this division for the last 3 years. And I think they got worse this offseason. Personal opinion. Now, if they go out and get Derrick Henry, Maybe they've helped, done a little bit. Okay, I get it. Understand it. Patriots go out and get Lamar Jackson. I understand that there's certain things out there that make us nervous about not only the rest of the AFC, but in our division. Well, I got news for you, ladies and gentlemen. We have the best defensive coordinator and one of the best offensive play callers in the league. Our offense improved significantly last year, and I believe, based on everything that they've done this offseason, and as long as they address the offensive line, let me put that caveat up there, Miami Dolphins are going to be crazy good this year. Crazy good. Daniel Taylor says, Stephen D, a lot would have to go right this Miami Dolphins season. We have to have Lady Luck on our side. Rashad said, talk your Stephen. Screw the haters. Hold on, where's that? Talk your Stephen. Screw the haters. I got a censor too. I can censor myself. I like it. All Greer did was switch Byron out for Ramsey. Well, Byron didn't play last year. So our defense got 10 times better than it did last year because Byron didn't even step on the field. And by the way, Ramsey's 10 times better than Byron Jones. So I don't think that's just a switch. Come on now. Give him more credit than that. Give him more credit than that. That's what I'm talking about, Stephen D. Talk that retarded, Stephen D. Spread that false narrative. I'm not spreading no false narrative. Y'all, I don't understand how some of you cannot be excited for these moves. I get we need to address the offensive line, and I've never said anything other than that. We need to address the O-line. You really want this offseason to be a success? Go address the offensive line. You really want to have some insurance for Tua? Make sure you have a good offensive line in front of him. We've all said that. Greer wants to make sure he keeps his job. McDaniel wants to make sure he keeps his job. Do that. And if for any reason the offensive line is the reason for this team not being what it is, I will be the first in line on my morning show to be like, this team deserves everything that's coming for him because they didn't address the one thing that they needed to address. They addressed everywhere else. They made this team great, but they didn't make it in the trenches on the offense. And that's why this team failed. If that does happen, which I don't believe that it will. We're still in the second week of free agency. We are still, ladies and gentlemen, there's still a buttload of free agents out there. I know that there's not necessarily the top tier. I get it. I understand that. But there's diamonds in the rough. You have the draft. You have when training camp starts, teams are going to make cuts off good players. Whether it be salary cap, whether it be, hey, we found some young guy and we can help save on our salary cap and we're just going to get rid of this veteran. There will be quality offensive linemen that the Dolphins will be able to choose from that will make a significant difference on this O-line before week 1 of this football season. I have faith in Chris Greer. I have faith in Mike McDaniel. And I personally have faith in Tua Tagovailoa that this team is not only going to battle it out for the AFC East, they're going to battle it out and get a chance to go all the way at minimum to the AFC Championship game, if not the Super Bowl. If not the Super Bowl. So, yes, that's what I'm preaching up here. I don't think it's a false narrative. I think I have results that show why I'm this optimistic. I have stuff that can back me up, man. Go look at the numbers. Numbers are everything. It's not just the win-loss at this moment. I get what matters is the win-loss. But there are a lot of things that contribute to that. And I think we improved in the situations where we needed to, and I think we've gotten better. Personal opinion, Dolphins. I mean, look, I 100% could see 12, 13 wins this year. This offense, this team, the way it's designed, it should. No matter if we have the second hardest schedule or the second least hardest schedule. Caslin says a lot of us fans don't rely on Hopeium, Stephen D. That's fine. That's fine. I get it. Big Dougie B says, I'm always excited for the Fins. Yes, I would like to make some moves with the roster, but I love my Dolphins, and I can't wait for this season. Thomas Jensen says, I can see 14 wins this year. I can too. Bonjo says, you are what your record tells you. I think there's truth in that statement, Bonjo, but understand, go look at other things besides the win-loss record. There's improvement, major improvement from 21 to 22. This team got better significantly on offense from the Brian Flores era to the Mike McDaniel era. And where did they see a drop-off? They saw a drop-off in defense. We all know that. So what did they do? They got rid of who was here. They went out and got the top-tier defensive coordinator that was available, who, by the way, is a top 3 defensive coordinator in all of football, and said, go do what you need to do. What do you need? What do you want? Who do you want? You want this guy? Jalen? Okay, we'll get you Jalen Ramsey. You want David Long? We'll get you David Long. You want Deshaun Elliott? We'll get you Deshaun Elliott. Oh, you like Nick Needham? We'll bring him back. You like Andrew Van Ginkel? We'll bring him back. We'll restructure who we need to restructure. Dolphins will win 12 to 13 games this year. I feel it in my bones. That's no hot take. I just feel it in my bones. That's what's going to happen. And the numbers show that it will. Because I believe that their numbers will improve from year 1 to year 2 in this offense. There will be improvement on the offense. Will it be significant? I don't know, but it'll be improvement as long as they address the O-line. Put the caveat on there again so people don't think I'm just talking out of my butt. I understand we need to address the O-line. We will be a AFC contender. We will have a great chance to win the AFC East because we beat the Bills last year. We went toe-to-toe with the teams last year in all 3 games. We won 1, and the other 2 we lost by a total of 3 points each. What do you want? We got better. We got better on defense. We're going to get better on offense. Why are we going to get better on offense, Stephen? Because there's continuity and consistency from year 1 to year 2. We do not have people learning a playbook this offseason. We have them improving upon a playbook that they know this offseason. Stephen, the truth is this fan base is more loyal to the pain or the past rather than the bright future that awaits them because the old Finns have delivered us on the pain for them. Problem, this is not old. Andres says, stop the hope, Stephen. We haven't been saying the same crap for 20 years, Stephen. Shaking my head. So what are the Jets? We beat the Dolphins and the Bills. Don't get me started. This ain't no Jets channel, Jets gang. You go somewhere with your green self. That's why I hate the Hulk. I hate the Hulk because he's green. If the Hulk wasn't green, I'd love him. But I can't stand him because he's green. Can't do it. Jose says, Jets get Rodgers and still end up making 3rd in the division. I agree with that, Jose. 100%. Mark K says, Steven, so if you improve, it has to start with the offensive line. Nothing has been done, and you have not improved in offense. I agree that the offensive line needs to improve in order to take a significant step forward. Where I don't agree with you is the blanket statement that we haven't improved on offense because we haven't done anything to the offensive line. We have done a couple things. Nothing of significance. But that's a blanket statement, and I think that's not true. You don't need to improve in general, just in general. I'm not talking about our situation. Just in general, you don't need to improve an offensive line in order for your offensive line to improve. That that statement as a blanket, as a whole, is false. Now, do I believe that the Dolphins need to improve their offense in order to take a significant forward on the offense in general, the offensive line in order to take a significant? Do I believe that the offensive line needs to take a step forward in order for the offense as a whole to take a significant step forward? Yes, I do. I do believe that. PJ Max says we need results on the field. Having hope does nothing for many of us anymore. These moves mean nothing if we don't contend for the next 2 years. And PJ Mac, this is what I was talking about yesterday, good sir. I said that this was the argument yesterday. The argument yesterday was all these moves don't mean nothing if we don't make the Super Bowl next year. I had fans up here trying to tell me that. I said the reality of the situation, we won't know that for 2 to 3 years. We're in a 2 to 3 year window now to win a Super Bowl. I think we can all agree with that. Where I think it's going to be, if we make it to the AFC Championship game, I'm going to be ecstatic and I'm going to have hope up the wazoo for the following year. I'm going to be disappointed that we didn't make it. Getting that close and getting the rug pulled out from under you. Hell, the Jets made it 2 AFC Championship games with Mr. Butt Fumble himself. Why can't the Dolphins do it with this offense with Tua? And Tua was a 10 times better quarterback than Mark Sanchez ever hopes to be or ever hoped to be. So I'm just 2 to 3 years is the Super Bowl window now, depending on how things go. If the Dolphins make a significant run in the playoffs, this is a successful year as of this moment. If they don't win a Super Bowl over the next 2 to 3 years, then we can look back on it and go back and say, you know what, ultimately this was a fail. But in the moment, as of now, you got to keep going forward. Cannot look at the past, and you can't allow the past. Look, I understand Dolphins fans. We have Kevin Lee says, I see 9-8 again, Steven. If you don't have a running quarterback, it's hard to go far in the playoffs. Look at the 2 teams in the Super Bowl last year, both running quarterbacks. Tua is not one. Daniel Taylor, Stephen D speaks the truth. Dolphins humbled the Bills last season in week 3. Tua will never learn the full playbook. He's got about 12 plays so far. Oh, my God. Money Mitch says, how can you go on about Dolphins football for so long and not mention Tua's injury? You are selling something worse than crack. Steven, as long as Tua is our quarterback, we will be nothing more than a 9-8 team, and that's a fact. Jets still haven't managed to sign Rodgers. Can we please stop talking about them with Rodgers until it really happens? It wouldn't surprise me at all if Aaron says Jets suck last moment and retire. Bro, I've said straight up, I'm like, until that trade happens, the Jets are going to jet. The Jets will find a way to jet it up. I agree with you, Franzi. The window all depends on how fast they can get Tua out of here, CCR says. See, I don't understand that. Don't ignore me, Stephen D. What were your bones telling you this time last year? What are records? All right, so last year I was hyped. I was hyped. We had just made the trade for Tyreek Hill. We had brought in the offensive guru. The defense was still kind of intact minus Flores and Gerald Alexander. I was like, all right, we have a chance as long as the defense can be what it is and we can make a significant improvement on offense and Tua could stay healthy, we can go forward. Right? That was what my bones were telling me last year. Well, the defense took a significant step back. Tua did not stay healthy the whole year, but the offense did take a step forward. But Tua did take a step forward in the standpoint of his playing career. Halfway through the season, he was in MVP talks. Whether he would have won it or not had he kept it up, I don't know. But he was, none the case, it was a fact he was in the talks. He was showing us something that we had not seen from him at that point. And for the first half of the season, he was being very consistent up until the West Coast swing. And that was past half the season. And that included him getting injured and out for 2.5 weeks. We were like, all right, shoot, I like this Tua, let's go. Now, what happened on the West Coast swing? Can't tell you. I think defense had a lot to do with those losses. I think McDaniel had a lot to do with those losses. And I think Tua had a lot to do with those losses. And I think you combined all those 3 things in, everybody can take some accountability on that West Coast swing. But I'm not here to talk about the past. What I will tell you is, yes, I was hyped last year. But I'm even more hyped this year because of last year. Because This is the first time I can remember where I'm like, man, players are not learning offenses. Players are not necessarily learning playbooks. They're just getting better with what they already know and then expounding upon that. I get where our weakness is. Offensive line. We can all, every single person that is a Miami Dolphins fan, what is the Dolphins' weaknesses? They're going to say two things, and I will agree with it. The offensive line and Tua's health. They won't say Tua's ability. If they are, I think they're hating. They'll say Tua's health. Those are the two weaknesses, two biggest weaknesses the Dolphins have. There are other weaknesses, but those are the two biggest. Tua's health and the offensive line. Who cares what order it's in? They're both huge weaknesses. But if we can find a way to improve upon that, we can overcome all of that. We are going to be a force to be reckoned with in the NFL this year. Mark my words. Listen to me. Do not think about the past 25 years. Try to get the PTSD out of your head. I understand the Dolphins have been mediocre upon mediocre upon mediocre for so long. I get it. This ain't your same team you've been watching for 25 years, cuz. This is a different squad with different goals and different aspirations, and they're called the Super Bowl. And they are legit into thinking that, not just BS. We're at the beginning of every year, everybody's 0-0, and we all no. Dolphins know that they're going to be there. The Philadelphia Eagles, who were in the Super Bowl last year, said, man, we thought we were going to be playing the Dolphins this year in the Super Bowl. They got better and are going to get better. Keep improving, Dolphins, and as long as the Dolphins keep improving, which I believe that they will, and everything they've showed me last offseason and this offseason tells me they're going to. Triple S Podcast says, I need one more starting caliber offensive lineman and one more upper tier depth piece on this O-line before week 1 to feel comfortable personally. I'm not disagreeing with that statement, Triple S. That is a fair statement. Give me a starting caliber and an upper tier depth piece. And I'm about it, Triple S. If that happens, there should be no slander for anybody. None. One to 2 years, Stephen D. will be in cap hell after year tier. We not talking about 2 years from now. That's future Stephen to worry about. That's future McDaniel to worry about. That's future Greer can worry about that. We're in 2023. Let's worry about now. Let's worry about now. Oh, we better make the AFC Championship game this year. No excuses, Stephen D. I agree. Anything less than that, failure. Anything less than an AFC Championship game appearance, failure. Now, let me put a caveat on that, and I know you're going to hate me for it, and a lot of you will, especially you, Lewis. If we lose the way Buffalo lost to Kansas City 2 years ago, it's going to be heartbreaking, and I'm going to feel horrible about it. But I don't know if I'm going to be like, it was a fail. I'll be like, dang, we were this close. I'm going to be heartbroken, but I don't know if I'm going to think it's a fail. But I think they've changed the rules for that, so I don't think that's going to happen anymore, right? They changed the rules for the playoff games and overtime, so I don't think we have to worry about that. Stephen D is just happy to have Tua. Wins aren't as important as Tua's contract to Colt members. Wrong. False. Cap. Please. Because Mark Sanchez didn't get hurt, brah. Injury's the only thing Stephen refuses to mention. I'm sitting here talking about it. What do you want from me? I have mentioned that the offensive line needs to improve in order for us to even remotely think about the AFC Championship game. That needs to occur. I agree. It is also March 23rd. We are nowhere close to training camp. And even when training camp starts, there's going to be cuts of quality players getting cut. So until week 1, I am not putting saying that this offseason was a fail or it wasn't. Week 1 comes around and this offensive line looks exactly like it looks like it does right now, which it won't. Then I will be more than happy to say it doesn't matter. I'll be more than happy to get up here on my channel and say, doesn't matter, Dolphins didn't address the offensive line. They suck. I'll be more than happy to say it. But they're not going to do that. They're going to address it. Whether we think those people are of quality or not, that's going to be debatable. I certainly question Dan Feeney. I love his haircut. Love the man's hair. And it sounds like he's got a personality out the wazoo. Super excited about his personality. But I definitely question, looking at his numbers, what he's going to do to help the Dolphins offensive line room. I do question it, and I should. I'm a fan. His numbers don't show that he's going to be that great. His track record shows that he's not going to be that great. But the front office and the offensive line and our head coach like him. So let me put some faith in them before I automatically write Dan Feeney off. Not going to do it. Do I think Dan Feeney's the savior of this offensive line? No. Do I think Dan Feeney's the only thing that's going to change on this offensive line between now and week 1? Sure don't. There's going to be other changes, ladies and gentlemen. Calm down. Take a chill pill. Sit down. Relax. It's March 23rd. Cuz. Hey, yo, the Wolfpack out here being negative with their fake. What's y'all's purpose? I know, Rashad. They went right back. Fangio went right back. I knew Fangio couldn't even last a week being positive. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Lewis, get your boy. Oh, I can't wait for them to come after me now. That'll be fun. He stepped forward and fell and got 3 concussions. Flip side. Whatever. How can we be 9-8 if the Fins defense just improves by 5 points less per game to 18-5? We win more than 9 games. Not really that much to ask from Fangio. Thank you, BitBop66. I agree. The Miami Dolphins are going to improve alone off of the defense. Look at all the games last year that we lost. Okay, right. I'm glad you brought that up. All right, so Dolphins last year, Miami Dolphins defense. GG. All righty. They gave up 24.1 points per game. The number 1 team, which was San Francisco, gave up 17.2. But let's just go to top 10 because I believe that's where the Dolphins are going to lie into, okay? That's where I believe the Dolphins are going to lie into, okay? Y'all ready? Dolphins, Pittsburgh Steelers were 20.4. New England was 20.4. So that's less than 4 points per game difference. So all we need Vic Fangio to do is improve the defense by 4 points per game. Okay. Miami Dolphins 2022. Okay. We just need Vic Fangio to improve by 4 points per game. Y'all ready? Let's go through the games last year. Well, we had won the first 3, so I'm not worried about it. If we go to the Bengals and improve by 4, we still lose to Cincinnati. That's still a loss. We still lose to the Jets. That's still a loss. That's 2 losses. We still lose to the Vikings. That's still a loss. That's 3. We beat Pittsburgh. We beat the Lions. We beat the Bears. We beat the Browns. We beat the Texans. All right. Right now, we still have 3 losses. We still lose to San Francisco. Okay. So that's 4. We still lose to the Chargers. That's 5. We beat the Bills now because we've improved by 4 points and we scored 29 points. So now we're only at 5 losses. We still lose to the Packers. All right, so that's 6. That's 6 losses. Patriots we beat. So we only have 6 losses next year. Max. with a 4-point improvement. That puts us at 9-8 to 11-6. 9-8 to 11-6 by Fangio alone, not making any changes on offense. By the way, we still get into the playoffs and we win that game. So we win the wild card game if Fangio's there last year because we lost by 3 points. And as long as we improve by 4 per game, we win the game. So we win the wild card game and we go to the division. We probably get killed by Cincinnati, but so be it. What do you want? That's a 2-game improvement on Fangio alone, plus a playoff win. Come on. Kenneth says, where are you getting all these numbers from? I went to, if I think the Dolphins are going to be a top 10 in offense or in defense this year, and the defense, which was Pittsburgh and New England, tied at 10 and 11 at 20.4, and the Dolphins last year were 24.1, which means that all the Dolphins need to do to get into the top 10 is improve by 4 points less per game to our opponent next year to get into the top 10 on defense, which is where I predict we will be. You take that 4 points and you add it to you take it away from every opponent of every game last year. Okay. Now I know there's other factors into it, but I think that's a fair calculation. I said just getting into the top 10. 4 points. 4. We just need to improve by 4 points? You think Fangio's not going to do that? I'll give you credit, Stephen D. You know how to give us hope. Not sure I'm sold, but you do give us hope. Just listen to that. And then based on that, we win the playoff game against Buffalo, which puts us in the AFC divisional round. So, yes, I have hope because our defense is going to get significantly better. And as long as the offenses improve, which I concur, the caveat is improve the offensive line. But as long as they do that, you got to think that they're going to get better. Why would they get worse? There's nothing to show you that they will get worse. Not even Tua getting hurt again. Because he got hurt last year, they still made the playoffs and came within 3 points of winning. Come on. We improved the backup quarterback position by theory because Mike White was better than Skylar Thompson in numbers and Teddy Bridgewater in numbers. So in theory, we improved the backup quarterback position, which means that if Mike White were to get in, he's going to improve. He's going to be better. He's going to score some points. I don't understand the misery of some of the Dolphins fans. I get it. I'm with you. I bleed aqua and orange just like you. Understand this, guys. The Dolphins are a better football team than they were at the end of last year. And they improved so far this year, and they should get better with more moves. Patience is key. Wait till the draft. Wait till the end of free agency. Wait till the end of training camp when people get going and get cut. Anything can happen. Yes, we have the second hardest schedule. I understand that. But I'm just going based on last year's to this year. I love you guys. I love all of you. Vonjo's one of my best friends. I love Vonjo. But I can't stand how negative he is. I hate it. I love him. I hate his negativity. And everybody's like, patience. I've been patient for 25 years. I've been patient for 3 years for Tua. I don't have any more patience. Stephen D needs to teach a class on Hopeium. He has so much of it. Boy, I'm out here. I'm a Hopeium dealer. What? You want some of that hope? Two for 15. I got these hope bags. 2 for 15. Let's go. 2 for 15. I'm a Hopeium dealer. I like it. That's my new thing. Thank you, Caslin. I'm a Hopeium dealer. I like it. Keep it up, Stephen D. Speak them fast. Pumping my chest right now. Let's go. I'm still patient. Mudbone says McStubborn needs to improve his play calling if he doesn't want all the other stuff you spit and doesn't mean jack. I agree McDaniel needs to improve on last year. I've talked about that too. As a matter of fact, I'll talk about that here in a second. The other key, of course, our defense needs to travel. Okay. You were the one being negative yesterday. I had more faith in the team than you. Yesterday, where did it go, Fangio? Did you lose it on your way home? Did you lose it at work? Did you lose it falling asleep? What happened, Fangio? Because you woke up this morning and you weren't on the positivity train. I don't know about you, Fangio. I question you, Von. Cruz says Tua was gone for 5 games last year, and the offense still finished top 10. They still made the playoffs with a third-string quarterback. They almost won a playoff game. What the are y'all so hurt by? Thank you, Cruz. Thank you. Mark Angelo, the godfather of the Dolphins fans, the godfather. You come to me on the day of the Tyreek Hill trade, the anniversary, and you ask me for hope. No, I'm going to do this for you, but you're going to have to do something for me in the future. I'm going to come to you, and I don't know when, and I don't know where, and I don't know how, but when I come to you and I ask for something, you're going to do it. No questions asked. So you want me to take this hope from you? You're going to do this for me in the future, okay? All right, I got you, Mark. I got you. Telling you, I got you, my guy. All right, look. I mean, why hasn't it been said that every year that Tua has been in the NFL, he has consistently gotten better and better? Because he's been hurt every year, William Perry, to be fair. But I agree with you. Thank you for the donations, by the way, guys. Help keep the channel going. Stephen D, I was saying Super Bowl or bust this year, and you said AFC Championship or bust. So who's really putting up hope? Cruz said 50 Cent said it best. I smell. Is that you, Wolfpack? I ain't doing it to them, but I did like that. I thought that was. I didn't say that. Cruz said that. Anyways. Stephen D, spread kindness, positivity, love, and Hopeium, a.k.a. Stephen D, SKPLH. I'm going to have to add the H at the end of it. You're right. I like it. Anyone saying Skylar is greater than Tua took opium, not opium. Full Force said it best. I smell. I watched the new House Party, by the way, on HBO. I liked it. Yes, it had LeBron in it. I get it. It wasn't the same House Party, but it was different. I thought it was different. I liked it. It was good. It was good. I liked the new. I'm seeing a lot of hate in the chat, Lewis said. No hate. No hate here, Lewis. Where that though? All right, somebody had mentioned about, all right, Mudbone says, McStubborn needs to improve his play calling if he doesn't want all that other stuff you spit and doesn't mean jack. All right, let me elaborate on this, Mudbone. Last year, here are some things about you need to kind of put in perspective, Mudbone, because I agree with some of your statement here. Actually, most of it I agree with. McDaniel was a first-time head coach, and we all can agree that there is a learning curve when you are a first-time head coach. Good, bad, or indifferent. There is. Belichick wasn't good his first year in Cleveland. Hell, Don Shula wasn't good his first year in Miami. Everybody has a learning curve. Some people do get good on their first year and get lucky. I get it. I understand it. But for the most part, track record shows in the NFL, whether they have a good season or a bad season, that there are learning curves. So put that in perspective with McDaniel. Give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, first-time head coach. When you're a first-time head coach, you also, and this is from watching millions of interviews over the years about when I was the first-time head coach, I did this. I made sure that, look, I had to keep to a list of what I wanted to make sure I accomplished this year, and I wasn't going to stray away from that, at least in year one, because I wanted to have a good measuring stick or a measuring board to sound off of in year two to figure out what can I improve upon and how could I be a better coach in year two, okay, or in the future. So McDaniel did make mistakes, right? It's funny because the run game got slightly better, and I think could have been significantly had I would have liked to see more jet sweeps last year. I don't know about you all, but that's just me. I would have loved to see him stick to the run just a little bit more than he did. Just a little bit more. And run more jet sweeps out to the sides. I believe that if they did that and put Tyreek Hill in motion the way they did Deebo Samuel in San Francisco, we could have had extended drives. We could have scored more points. I think some outcomes of some games would have been different. Personal opinion. It wouldn't have been all on Tua to sit back in the pocket and throw to wherever he needed to throw to. Personal opinion. But I do believe that McDaniel had it in his mind, and I can't confirm this. I'm just telling you what I believe based on other head coaches, based on how I've interpreted McDaniel in his press conferences and things. I believe that he had a list of things that he just wasn't going to stray away from in his first year. I'm just going to do it this way. It will give me a measuring stick. Okay, now I know from year two and beyond, I know in my first year, because I didn't make these adjustments or wasn't willing to take the gamble of making these adjustments in game, it hurt me, which I know contradicts because the Baltimore game, the first three quarters, they were sticking to what McDaniel said, but they were losing by 21 points with 12 minutes and 53 seconds left. And he said in the post-game press conference, he said, we just threw everything out the window, and I just went to two and said, you ready to have fun? Let's just air it out. I believe that if McDaniel in certain situations last year had decided to throw out some of the game plan and just go what was in the moment, and I think that needs to happen more often than not, again, some games would have been different. But for a first-time head coach, you're going to make calls that just aren't fly-by-night all the time. Sometimes you do, most times you don't. His play calling, not just his play calling did I question a little bit last year, although we all know the offense got better, so how can you really question his play calling when it became a top 10 offense last year, right? Good, bad, or indifferent. Time management, come on. There were plenty of times last year where that play clock was going down 3, 2, 1, and they weren't getting the snap off, and I'm yelling at the TV or I'm at the game, how can y'all take a delay of game penalty? Just hike the freaking ball. Get out of the huddle with more than 10 seconds left. They're going ready, break, and it's 9, 8, 7. They're getting set up and the play clock's at 3. What do you expect? So I hope they improve upon that next year because that was frustrating as all hell to watch last year, Mudbone. Other things that bothered me last year, right? Penalties. I'm watching the game. I watched the World Baseball Classic championship game. Shout out to Japan. Shout out to USA. Great game. World Baseball Classic was amazing for those of you who love baseball. It was awesome. After the game, I'm getting ready to turn off TV. What's on? NFL Network has the Dolphins-Ravens game on. So there were a lot of things that I observed, but one of them was there was still a lot of bad penalties that Baltimore declined. Even in the last 12 minutes and 53 seconds. Baltimore accepts one or two of those penalties in the last 12 minutes of the game. Maybe that game turns out a little bit different. I'm glad we won. I was there. It was awesome. I think I've been there for the two greatest comebacks in Miami Dolphin history, the Miami Miracle and the Baltimore beatdown. Let's go. Let's go. Coke Master D Japan won 3-2, but it was awesome. Shohei Ohtani, bottom of the ninth. Actually, it was top of the ninth, excuse me. Top of the ninth, 2 outs. Mike Trout comes up to bat. Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, top of the ninth. It was amazing. It was awesome. Anyways, get off baseball because I know some of you turn the channel when I talk it. I get that there is a learning curve for McDaniel and that he needs to improve upon stuff last year. So discipline, right, with penalties, time management, certain play calling, but you had to know that there was going to be a learning curve with a first-time head coach. But what we do know, Mudbone, about McDaniel is that he's a genius, right? Put that in quotations. He is in coaching circles considered a genius. So why wouldn't he improve from year one to year two? Let's take out the players for a second. As a coach, he should hopefully he doesn't make some of the mistakes and makes an emphasis on correcting those in OTAs, in training camp, in the preseason, and obviously during the season. There was multiple games last year where Cameron and I would talk after the game. We were in New York. We went to the Jets game. We got freaking clobbered by the Jets. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. We're driving to the Mets game because we saw the Mets played a playoff game that night. I saw an NFL game and a Major League Baseball playoff game in the same day. If you ever get a chance to do it, totally do it. It was awesome. Absolutely amazing. Anyways, we're driving to the Mets game from the Meadowlands. And we're sitting here talking about, man, McDaniel was making all these plays. And I'm sitting here kind of getting mad at Cam talking about, how can you get mad at a first-time head coach? The more I think about it, though, I understood his frustration. It wasn't he was mad. He was frustrated with some of the play calling that McDaniel was doing because it put us in positions where we had to make some difficult choices that if he doesn't make those, maybe this is a different outcome. Maybe we still lose. We got killed 40. They put up 40 points on us. Let's call it what it was. But I think that he's going to get better from year one to year two. And Brandon he has developed players. What do you mean a genius would develop players? He did. What did Cater Kahoo do? Are you kidding me? Brandon, my guy, my brother, come on, do better. If you want to question the offensive line room, great. I have no problem. You can do that. But he did develop players. He did. Tell me he didn't. Look, I understand reservations from certain places there, right? From coaching, it's not all on Tua. And by the way, guys, I am okay with the questioning of some of these things, right? Like I that's why I just took 10 minutes to talk about Mudbone's thing, right? Like I said, look, Mudbone disagrees with me on a lot of different things. I get it. Mudbone's my guy. I love you, Mudbone. Shout out to you, my guy. But I can deal with the debate of, well, McDaniel needs to improve. You're right, he does. No argument here. Let's talk about it. Aaron Green says time management and situational calls should get better substantially with Fangio in his ear too. I agree with that, Aaron. Part of the and this, I know I don't know if I've said this enough or is in detail the way I want to, Aaron. Maybe I have, but in the postseason presser, when he was talking about, or at least when they brought in Butch Berry, they were talking about Matt Applebaum and Frank Smith, who's our offensive coordinator, and I put that in quotations because McDaniel's the play caller, but nonetheless, Frank Smith is the offensive coordinator here, and he said that he was in the offensive line room with Matt Applebaum a lot last year, and the reason that he let Applebaum go is he needed to be able to have somebody that could be in that offensive line room and trust who was there. Not that Matt Applebaum was a bad guy or anything, but he wasn't getting the productivity and they weren't grasping the offense maybe the way that they needed to. Well, he's worked with Butch Berry in San Francisco, so he knew about him. He knew the type of offense he wanted to run. Butch Berry could obviously help those offensive linemen do, like, he trusted him to sit in the room. Whether he will do it or not, that's TBD, to be determined. But nonetheless, he trusts Butch Berry 10 times more than he trusted Applebaum. Right? So now Frank Smith doesn't have to sit in the offensive meetings. So what I think was happening on Mondays and Tuesdays when there wasn't practice or post game, McDaniel was in the room by himself for the most part. What it sounds like. I'm not saying it was. What it sounds like. And he's having to break down this film and figure out the changes or figure out the things he needed to do. Blind can't lead the blind. No offense to McDaniel. But you don't know what you don't know. And if you're the only one in the room, you're having your own sounding board. And he specifically stated, it now allows me to have Frank Smith work on game plans with me and allow him to take more control over the offensive scheme. He said that clear as day in the press conference, McDaniel. And I agree with you. Fangio, who, mind you, was hired for the last 2 weeks in Philadelphia, not to help the defense, but to help the offense deal with the defenses, to deal with Kansas City's offense or defense, excuse me. I 100% believe that Fangio will be able to sit there with McDaniel, not only doing his own thing. Don't get that twisted. He's going to have his own job to do, but I'm sure there will be some moments during the week where they will be able to sit there and say, hey, Mike, I would have done this here. And I think even in the game, he might go over to him and say, hey, man, look, this is what I think. And by the way, McDaniel doesn't have an ego from what it sounds like. I totally could see McDaniel walking over to Vic. Hey, man, what do you think we should do here? You think we should call a timeout? How should we work this? Should we challenge this? Should we not challenge this? McDaniel's going to lean on Fangio heavily for a lot of different things. And I think it's going to improve offense, defense, special teams. Pray to God it improves special teams. Still don't know why Danny Crossman's here, but everybody seems to love him in the building, players and coaches. So whatever, you know. I think Fangio is going to be such a huge sounding board for many different operations, for McDaniel, for the defense itself, for the offense and how they approach defenses, for the scout team, everything. Fangio, I think, I said last year Applebaum would be the biggest acquisition for this team. And my theory was right. It turned out it's my thought process, I was thinking correctly. It turned out to be wrong. And here's why. Matt Applebaum, who I thought was going to make a huge difference, came from Boston College. Boston College is not a great college powerhouse. Well, I said to myself, I said, man, if anybody's going to get the most out of these current offensive linemen that are here, it's going to be a guy who took Boston College and made them the top 10 offensive line in all of college football. When Matt Applebaum left Boston College had the top 10 offensive line in college football. So my thought process was, man, this is a great hire. This guy knows how to develop talent out of nothing, out of mediocre stuff, and make them a top 10. Now, I don't know why that didn't transition over to us here in Miami, but it didn't. And that's the one thing that I liked about McDaniel. He saw a need that needed to make a change of a place that he stood up. Hey, I made the mistake. I brought in Applebaum. That's my bad. I see it's not working. Let me bring in somebody else who I do trust and know can run the offense I need to. Yes, I know that there's red flags with Butch Berry, according to certain players in Denver, but I've worked with him before. I know him. I know I can get the best out of Butch Berry, and I know I don't have to worry about my offense coordinator sitting in an offensive lineman meeting when he should be helping me with game planning on Sundays, for Sundays. So my thought process, my thought process was correct, or should have been. It just didn't work out. I don't think that it turned out to be not good, but I don't think my thought process was wrong. I was thinking correctly. It just didn't work out. And sometimes things just don't work out. And Matt Applebaum just didn't. Now, I hope Butch Berry's different because we've had 9 offensive line coaches in 10 years. Major issue for a franchise who, by the way, has had a multitude of issues of offensive line over the last 20. Hell, the last 10. Let's talk about the last 10. You know, Caslin 143 with his $5 donation. Thank you for the donation. Says sophomore slumps happen. McDaniel's Tua's offense. It can happen here. Yes. So I have, that has been a pushback on me. Hey, sophomore slumps. Let me tell you why I don't believe the sophomore slump will happen. I appreciate you bringing that up, Caslin. I think it's a fair point. The reason why I don't believe sophomore slump will happen with this are a couple of things. and some of the which I've already named, but I think it will help. My hope is that it will help you understand why I don't believe that it'll happen even more. Last year, and I just said it a little bit ago, McDaniel, I believe, was his own sounding board and was his own person. So he improved it on his own from the Flores era to his own, from 21 to 22, without having really a sounding board or anybody to go off of. And he had to institute a difficult playbook. I did, by the way, go back and hear yesterday about Eric Ezukanma, because I was saying for weeks, I'm like, why is Eric Ezukanma, why did he not dress last year? He had such a great preseason with Skylar Thompson. Why was Eric Ezukanma a healthy scratch a lot last year? And then somebody said yesterday, hey, look, there's an interview where he went on record to say, I couldn't grasp the playbook, that I couldn't do it. So I thought about it and I looked into it. I still haven't heard the full thing, but I did see an article where they were talking about an interview about it. I still don't know where the interview is. But I did see a written article that somebody said Eric Ezukanma said he couldn't grasp the playbook. So I started thinking about this and I'm like, man, Eric Ezukanma couldn't grasp the playbook, and I get it. I understand it. They could not, from year one to year two, and everything that he had to go through, my thought process is, well, he's going to get better because now he's going to, hopefully in the offseason, he's sitting with Wes Welker, Tua, whoever else, Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, and they're sitting here saying, no, this is what you do. The offseason is the time where you get your timing down, you learn the playbook in and out. When you get to training camp, you need to know this. You need to be on the ball because otherwise you're not going to have a shot to play. Well, now he has a 1 year under his belt, and a lot of these other players do, Tua included. So they're not learning a new playbook. So that is another reason why I don't believe there will be a sophomore slump. The other reasons, they're running it back with the same people. It's not like they have to work on timing or chemistry. Everybody knows everybody's timing and chemistry. We've all done this together. And we had a top 10 offense. Let's just improve upon what we did last year and let's go. Oh, by the way, we have the second hardest schedule. That's okay. Vic Fangio is going to help us with the scout team. We're going to be all right. We're going to do it. I believe that there will not be a sophomore slump because of some of those reasons, among other things. I get that sophomore slumps happen. I understand it. But I think all signs indicate with Fangio, with another year under the belt, with McDaniel now having Frank Smith to help him with the game planning, with another offseason of being together and not just learning, hey, nice to meet you. How you doing? Hey, look, I get this is a complicated offense now. Hey, look, you've had a year plus with this offense and this playbook. Let's get it together. It's not like there's new people for the most part. We're going to be fine. Eric, the new tight end that we got from Denver, right? I believe his numbers show that it's the same thing with Feeney, by the way. This is the other thing that I'm hoping too, ladies and gentlemen. Dan Feeney, the new tight end, Eric from Denver. My hope is that these guys are smart too. So yes, these guys might not have the raw athletic ability, but they can overcome that with smarts and learning the playbook a little bit better. So that is part of my hope. Maybe that's the reason Mike White came in and became the backup here, because look what he did with a crappy Jets team. At least offensive wise. There's a reason they brought in Nathaniel Hackett, besides trying to recruit Aaron Rodgers. But I believe there will be no sophomore slump for Miami this year, because it's not Tua's true sophomore year. It's his second full year with a playbook. He's never had that, bro. Never. He hasn't had that in his whole career. Kenneth says, crazy though. Wasn't Mike McDaniel supposed to have been learning that stuff from Mike Shanahan or whoever he was under? I think there's a difference, Kenna, when you learn it and then you have to execute it in real life scenarios. You never know what type of person or coach or player you are till you're tested with the adversity of having to do it in the moment. And I think that McDaniel's smart enough I don't have to say genius. I don't have to say guru. Smart enough to know, hey, look, yeah, I knew this and I should have did it then, but I'm going to make sure I do it this year because now I'm when you haven't been through something as a head coach, everything's new. Everything's a first time for you. That's, by the way, that's in anything you do in life, not just football, just in general. But the more you do it, the more repetition you do it, the more opportunities you have to be in those circumstances, the more comfortable you're being because, oh, all right, I know this. I know how I should execute this. Well, the numbers show that I should do this here, and I know the last time I had this thought process and it didn't work out like that. Again, another year under the belt. Blind faith doesn't always work. I don't think this is blind faith. Blind faith to me was last year, Scott. That's fair for me last year. I had blind faith that an offensive line coach in college football would be able to come up here taking a mediocre, less than mediocre Boston College team and making them a top 10 offense and then hoping and having blind faith that it would work up here. I had blind faith that Tua was going to be healthy this past year. I had all this blind faith. Now, I don't think I have blind faith anymore. Now I have, okay, I have something to go on. I see where they're going with this. I don't think this is blind faith. Last year, I believe, was blind faith. This year, I believe I have numbers, I have stats to all prove some of my theories. Now, some of them are opinion-based, some of them are numbers-based, some of them are just history-based with players, head coaches, whoever. But I don't think this is blind faith. Last year, blind faith. I'll give that to you. Scott Jackson said, fair enough. I like it. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. If you guys have a question for me, put it in the chat. Put hashtag AskStephen. Hashtag AskStephen, and I will answer your questions in here because I want to answer it. I want to hear from you what kind of questions you guys have. I'm enjoying this little back and forth that we're doing in the chat, and I want to do a little bit more of it. I want to know what you think from a standpoint of Hopeium or blind faith or just hope in general. Why you consider that? Why you think that I'm having that compared to, all right, Stephen, I understand, where you're going with this. I don't necessarily agree with it, and I think track record shows differently, but I understand where you're coming from it. So that's kind of what I'd like to get into. Or if you have any other questions, I'd like to answer it from you. Put it in the chat. If you guys haven't hit the like button, only 63 likes, 120 of y'all in the building. Hit the like button. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. Just hit it. It helps. It helps me. Help me, help you. Help us. Okay? Hit the like button. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. If you're not subscribed, you can't get in the chat and talk. Got to be a subscriber to get in the chat and talk. Let's go. Let's go. 5 new members to the channel today because people that were current members gifted memberships. So I do want to say shout out to you all for doing that. It helps the channel grow. It helps more people become permanent members here on a day in, day out basis, daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, and obviously yearly. So I appreciate it. I love you all. Y'all the best fans in the world. Let's keep it going. All right, let me get into the chat here. Let's see what y'all got. Cat for Life says the second wave of free agency comes right after the draft. The third wave will come right after near training camp. We will find out this team did improve on the offense. Defense can't save us forever. Yes and no. I mean, I think 85% of what you said is correct there. There's the second wave after the draft. There's the third wave near the training camp. I agree with that. The defense can't save us forever. The defense didn't save us last year, in my opinion, Cap. So I think the defense is going to improve tremendously. And if you go back, if you haven't listened to some of my show, go back and listen to earlier portions of it because I talk about how, look, if the Dolphins just improved by 4 points, we win 3 more games last year, and that includes the playoff wild card game because Fangio would improve upon that. So I think ultimately we're in a very good place. That's just my opinion, but I hear where you're coming from, man. Mark K says Tyndall and Eric Azukama can't learn the playbook. That's a very sorry draft for when half your picks are too stupid to figure out how to play. I don't think that's a fair assessment, Mark. McDaniel was only considered to be a head coach because of how he was, what is that, a run pass coordinator or a running coordinator or a passing coordinator. But aside from that, he's the one that's been doing all these coaches symposiums and coaching weekends around the NFL. Head coaches, just like players, have like conferences. Coaches around the NFL. Head coaches in the NFL were going to McDaniel's coaching conferences because he might overanalyze stuff. That might be true, whatever it is. But I think that's an unfair statement to say that Tendo and Eric Azukama were too stupid to figure out how to play. Some people just take more time to assess things than others. Troy Aikman, Hall of Fame quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback, says I was horrible. And Peyton Manning, by the way, too, Hall of Fame, Super Bowl winning quarterback. Both of them had horrible first years in Dallas and Indianapolis, respectively. And they say on record, man, it was tough learning an NFL playbook. It was tough learning and adapting to how the offense was run. But year two, I came out and I was ready to go. And both of those guys improved from year one to year two. Now, granted, that's the quarterback. These are, special players, wide receiver, linebacker. I get it. But I think that's an unfair statement, Mark, personally. And I don't believe that it's correct in any way, shape, or form. William Perry says, I think also the type of training Tua is doing, he'll have the ability to go off the script more. I really wish he would train in gymnastics because it improves your overall athleticism. Dude, he's doing taekwondo or whatever it is. And I know people are clowning that, but look, even Dan Marino did like yoga and taekwondo and stuff. So don't knock it, guys. Don't knock it. That's all I know. CCR, if your car broke down every time you drove it, would you fix it or just hope that it works next time? I would fix it. I wouldn't replace it. I would fix it, which is what I believe the Dolphins are doing. J.R. Black says, Stephen, look how the people in the fan base is looking for reason to doubt this team. Are they hoping for failure of the team or looking for the team to succeed? It's crazy. J.R. Black, good question. Are they hoping for failure of the team or looking for the team to succeed? The fan base. And looking for doubt in this team. People can call me crazy, but I believe that PTSD is a real thing when it comes to fandom. I do. I think fans are sick and tired of hoping that the Dolphins are finally going to make the right moves. I do. I 100% believe that. They don't want to hear the word hope. They're sick of hope. They've had hope for 25 plus years. I have hope. And don't get me wrong, there's days it's tougher to be a Dolphins fan than others. I don't have to explain that to most of you, 98% of you. I don't. You guys know that because you guys live it every day, year in, year out, game in, game out. You guys have gone through years where we've just straight up sucked and we knew there was no way we were going to be competitive on Sundays. And then we've gone through times where for a 3-year or 4-year portion, we led the league in losing games by one possession or less for like a 3 or 4 year straight. You know how difficult that is when you know you're like right there, but you can't get over that hump? At least I've always said this, and I know people disagree. Some people disagree. A lot of people disagree, but this is my opinion. Doesn't have to be yours. I would rather get blown out in a game knowing my team sucks because that's just where we're at, rather than lose a game by one possession or less because I know there's 5 or 6 one thing 5 or 6 times in each of those games that we lost where it would be like, man, if we had just done this differently, the outcome would have been different. If we just had done this differently, the outcome would have been different. I have a guy who lives up here in Maryland who runs, who does the morning show on the sports on the radio here, who I used to work with years ago, and is a friend of mine. We don't talk as often as I'd like, but he is a friend of mine. His name's Jeremy Kahn, and he does the morning show at 105.7 The Fan here in Baltimore. And he says this statement, and I think it's a true statement. Good teams find a way to win. So for years, I would be like, man, look at the Dolphins. They lost by one possession or less. And he would be like, Steven, good teams find a way to win. Your team doesn't do that. They are not a good football team. I agree that there's truth in that, right? good teams do find a way to overcome the adversity and find a way to win those close games because they're just able to overcome whatever obstacles are in front of them, right? And we can go back and look at some of the great teams over the years. They've been in some dogfights. So I'll say this. I think that our fan base is just sick of I like what Kurt just said. Can't stand on the curb, keep stubbing your toe. I get it. They're just sick of the losing. They're sick of the mediocrity. They're sick of, oh my God, this season's going to be better because we made this move. I don't believe that this past offseason and this offseason is anywhere comparable to the offseasons of the acquisition of Brandon Marshall, the acquisition of Ndamukong Suh, the acquisition of Ricky Williams, the acquisition or getting of Ronnie Brown, and then having the Ricky or Ronnie show, or going out and saying, oh, Dante Culpepper is going to lead us to the promised land, and then him falling flat on his face and not doing anything for this franchise. I believe that we've Ocho Cinco, another one, right? So I believe that there are plenty of situations that look similar to this. I don't believe that they are, but they look. The average fan, they look very similar. So why are you putting lipstick on a pig is kind of how they're looking at it. You're dressing it up for what? To go get slaughtered still? It's still going to be eaten for breakfast. Why are we doing this? I believe that for the first time in the last 25 years that I can remember, that everybody seems to be on the same page within the organization. Owner, front office, head coach, players. And then we have players from other teams that are taking pay cuts to come play here. We have elite players that are demanding trades. Trade me to Miami. Jalen Ramsey, he didn't want to go anywhere but Miami. That's where he wanted to go. Take me to Miami. I want to go try to win a Super Bowl there. That's real. It wasn't just, oh, they have great weather. They got great tax breaks. I'm sure that helped, especially living in California for the last couple of years. But it's not like LA's horrible. It's not like he was living in Jacksonville. And I just trashed Jacksonville there. Sorry. But still, you get what I'm saying. So I think that the fan base is just over hope. They're over the mediocrity, and they want to see results. When I see Fangio saying 9-8 is 9-8, I hear you. I get it. We were 9-8 in 2021. We were 9-8 in 2022. Show me where we improved. All right, I can show you, but if you're just going to look at the win-loss record, which he's correct, ultimately that's all that matters. I get it. I understand that. But I'm choosing to look at this as a glass half full and say, hey, guys, there is proof in the pudding. There are numbers that we can go look at and say, holy crap, we did improve. We did get better here. We did be able to do this. Scott Jackson said Ramsey didn't take a pay cut and nobody comes to Miami for less money. Scott, go look at what he's doing. His cap hits what, $4 million this year? His base salary is $1 million. Now, granted, we paid him up front. But some of those players do care about the yearly number. So in theory, that is a pay cut. So Scott, he did. In theory. Whatever. He wanted to come to Miami because Miami's a Super Bowl contending team. Not because of the weather, not because of the pretty wonderful, amazing people here. The food, the atmosphere, the nightlife, everything. He wanted to come to Miami to play with Tyreek Hill and Tua and Jalen Waddle and Xavier Howard and win a Super Bowl and have this amazing elite defense and Javon Holland. He wanted to win a Super Bowl here, cuz. Don't give me that. But to J.R. Black's point, I believe that's why the fan base is the way that they are. They're over it. And I'm not mad at them for it. I'm not mad at some of my brothers feeling like the world, like this doesn't matter. It hurts me a little bit, but I'm not mad at it. I understand it. They're hurt. They can say, no, I'm not hurt. This team doesn't mess with, they don't help pay my bills or anything. Look, you're a fan. And when they lose, it hurts. Be real. You're up here listening on a day in, day out basis. You're mad when they don't do well. The reason you give a is because you love this team and you want to see them succeed. So I think ultimately, JR, that's what it is. Stephen, what would you say if Mike White leads us to a Super Bowl? Let's go. Dolphins fan growing up, let's go. To bring us to a Super Bowl victory, I'd be all about it. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd love to see it. Shout out to Mike White. Shout out to Braxton Berrios. Miami natives, Miami fans, grew up as Miami Dolphins fans, kids that went to Hard Rock Stadium, that tailgated outside the stadium, that went to games, went to practices, went to training camp, grew up dreaming to be Miami Dolphins, and now Braxton Berrios and Mike White are Miami Dolphins. I love it. I'm all about it. I like it. Hopeium spewing from Stephen D's mouth. Money Mitch says, ask Stephen, hashtag ask Stephen, how many games do you see Tua missing? The answer I want to say is none. If I'm honest with myself, probably 2 to 4. You know, if it's anything more than that, we're in trouble. My hope is 0. but that is hope. You want me to say that I'm a Hopeium dealer there? That is all hope. I hope that he misses no games. I hope if he does, it's only 2 to 4. That's it. And it's not in any one time. You know? That's it. Anything more than that, is going to be nothing but hope. It's going to be nothing but hope at that point. So, I don't know. But look, I mean, I guess a fair question. Because track record shows he will. Track record shows he won't finish out a season. But the hope is that he will. And that will change. And law of averages state that eventually you will find the winning code. You play it enough, you'll get there. Doesn't always mean that's the case, but I agree that we just need a little bit of lady luck on our side too. And I said that as much yesterday. I said, you just need a little luck sometimes. And I think that's what we need. We need a little luck. Dolphins fans need a little luck. Point blank. Hashtag Ask Stephen. True or false? All 4 AFC East teams finished with 10+ wins. Whoa, good question, Mark. Man, all 4 AFC teams finished with 10+ wins. Well, let's go down the line. Patriots currently as constructed? No. If the Patriots somehow pull off the Lamar Jackson trade, which I see highly unlikely that they will, but if they do, then yes, they will. The Jets. The Jets currently as constructed? No, not with their quarterback situation currently. If Aaron Rodgers comes there, yes, I could see a world where they finish with 10+ wins. The Buffalo Bills, I think their defense, losing Leslie Frazier as the defensive coordinator, is going to hurt them. I think losing some of the talent that they lost on the offense and defensive side of the ball will hurt them. But they are still the Bills, and as of this moment, there's nothing besides losing a few players here or there and the coach to make me think, okay, I don't know. I'm reading into stuff in Buffalo. I don't think everything is as rosy as they think it is in Buffalo. Personal opinion. I think there's a reason Leslie Frazier left. Just saying. Why would you leave an opportunity to win a Super Bowl? Unless it's like just personal and health or whatever. And if that's the case, so be it. But from everything that I've read, it's he left on his own volition. Taking a break. Put that in quotations. So I guess we'll say yes, but I think there's a huge opportunity that team is going to be one of the biggest disappointments in 2023. I think Bills fans are in for a world of hurt. I could be wrong. Okay, they go out and get Derrick Henry. They did re-sign Jordan Poyer. I get it. I understand that, but we'll see what happens. So, yes, I'll say ultimately they finish with 10+ wins, and then we do. So, yes, I'll say true. I'll say true right now. All 4 AFC East teams can finish with 10+ wins. 100% they all could. We all want to love this team, but no, like your girl, she will F it up and can't get no matter what she does. Goes for the same for this team. I don't exactly know what you're trying to say, but I think I know what you're trying to say, so I understand it. Debating myself between Febreze or Stephen D. Hashtag fresh air. I'm not mad at that, Ritter. That's pretty good. I like it. I'm just trying to read what you guys have. JD, hashtag AskStephen. Why do you think Greer refuses to spend money in the most important positions in football? In my opinion, that makes him a poor GM because I'm there. There's no real reason to not make the O-line your priority. Okay. This is my biggest question mark of Greer. This is my biggest question mark of this team. And I don't have an answer for you, JD. I don't understand why the Dolphins have not invested more into the offensive line. I think that they should. I like what Cincinnati's done over the past 2 years. They revamped it last year, and they revamped it all over again. Now, Jonah Williams wants out of there. By the way, I would love to see Jonah Williams in a Dolphins uniform. Just want to throw that out there. I'd be willing to give up a second-round pick for Jonah Williams. I think all of us would too. But nonetheless, yeah, I think that I don't have an answer. I do not have a good answer for you. I just don't. The only thing that makes, I don't want to say makes sense, but I'm thinking is they think that the guys that they have in-house can be better with better coaching, and they think they don't have to go out and spend bukus of money on an offensive lineman to, improve on the offensive line, that they can do it, with one thing I'll say about Greer is he likes to try to find talent with injured players, with veterans, and with undrafted free agents. He does try to find it there. He does. He tries to find the low risk, high reward value. He likes to try to find value players. And he does a decent job at it. Now, on the offensive line, I can't argue with fans that come up and say to me, well, I mean, the track record shows his offensive line is not that good. You're right. You're not wrong. I don't have a good answer for you, JD. I don't think he's a poor GM, though. I'll say that. Nobody ever said that about, Ozzie Newsome and Eric DaCosta in Baltimore about wide receivers, but I get, why you'd feel that way about the O-line. If I'll tell you right now, if the Dolphins lose for any reason concerning the offensive line this year, then everybody's job is on the line. Greer, McDaniel, at all. Because if you're not McDaniel pounding on the table and making it publicly, hey, look, I'm asking for offensive line, they're not giving it to me, whatever it is, or Greer stating, I wanted to prioritize offensive line, but McDaniel didn't think, which I pray to God that neither one of those two things happen. But Brandon R says he's a poor GM with no playoff wins. It was funny. I said he's a top 10 GM. And then somebody said to me the other day when I said that, they're like, he doesn't have a playoff win. You can't put him as a top 10 GM without a playoff win. And I'm like, you know what? That's not a bad. I don't know if I can argue that. He doesn't have a playoff win. Now, with that being said, what if Vic Fangio was here last year? Do they get that then playoff win? And then does he go into the top 10 GM? But I think if you're asked, I would agree you cannot be a top 10 GM without a playoff win. I've changed my caveat, but he's the 11th best GM in football. Then he's right there. He is. He's right there. But you need a playoff win in order to be a top 10 GM. I'll give you that. All right, let's see here. What else we got? Bobby and Amicus are fighting. Stop fighting, you two. Don't make me come back there. Good teams win a playoff game within every 20 years. I hope that's not true. We are more concerned with making headlines than building the team smart for 20 years. I think that has been the case up until last year. I would agree with that 100%, Scott, until last year. And not just because of last offseason, but because of this offseason too. Now, I want to see us address the O-line, Scott. I agree. But I would say for years they were about that. Oh my God, let me just bring in Brandon Marshall and appease the fan base. Oh my God, let me sign Ndamukong Suh to this, ridiculous, thing. Oh my God, Ricky Williams and Ronnie Brown. And then all the offseason, all the, off the field drama, Bullygate, offensive line coaches like Chris Forster, who, by the way, still in the NFL. Cannot believe that. You know where he is? San Francisco. He wasn't a bad coach, at least on the field. Off the field, another story. We got our owner out here whining and dining quarterbacks on other teams and us losing draft picks over it. Yes, we've had so much drama off the field. I don't disagree with that statement as a blanket, but I'll say this past offseason and this offseason, I think that the Dolphins are going about it the right way for the first time in years. And I've never been more confident about that. I just haven't. Just my opinion. Let's see here. What else we got? I'm really behind in here. You guys. Big name players come to hustle Greer and get ready for retirement. No, that's not true. Please. So sad when you expect him to miss 4 games. MVP. I didn't say I expected him to miss 4. I'm just saying, if I'm honest with myself, 2 to 4 games is probably what he will miss next year. My hope is that he misses none. Demetrius says, to be honest, we all know what our team boils down to. I don't know why we waste time talking anything else. People want to upgrade every position except the main one. You're saying quarterback, Demetrius. I get that. I don't. I said that for years, and I think there's truth in that, right? Like, before the drama of Deshaun Watson, I was all on board with bringing Deshaun Watson here. Then the off the field stuff came in, and I was like, I don't want him anywhere near my team. Because we have had a million off-season and off-the-field distractions. That's neither here nor there. I don't want to get into that. What I'm saying is, do I think that Tua is the best quarterback in the world? No, I don't. I don't think he does. I don't think the team does. I think there are plenty of other quarterbacks out there, a lot of them that are better than Tua. But I don't think Tua is a bad quarterback. I think Tua is average. Actually, I think he's above average. And I think at times he can be a really, really good quarterback. I think you got average, above average, good, really good. So I think there's times where he's above average and good, flirts with it. And there's times where he's been really good. And you're like, holy cow, this guy. He's had 1 or 2 games where he's just been amazing. But I think if you're asking me where I think he is on the scale, below average, average, above average, good, really good, great, exceptional. I think he lives in the world of above average and good. And you can win a Super Bowl with above average and good. You can win a Super Bowl with above average and good. In my opinion. I know other people don't think that, but I think you can. So I think that the team just, you don't have to agree with the team in the approach of they think that Tua is going to, they're betting, they're hedging their bets in their careers and future that Tua is going to be able to get him there. Is it a good bet? Is it the right bet? We don't know. And odds show that this man can't stay on the field long enough for even it to be a qualified bet, right? But that's what they're going on. And for me, I like that because they're doing risk versus reward, right? They're saying, well, look, if he doesn't work out this year, we'll have all our first round draft picks over the year's future. And, we'll be able to figure out, what we could see moving forward as far as like Rodgers and Lamar. I'm not mad that they didn't go after Aaron Rodgers or Lamar Jackson personally. Do I think they're better quarterbacks than Tua? Of course I do. But I think he's a a safe bet. He allows them the opportunity to do more in the future. If he doesn't work out, they have all the options in the world next year. If he does work out, they get to keep their first round draft picks, get to keep their money for another year or two, and get to really make a run at this thing. So it makes sense why this team is putting Tua in that position. I'm just saying. Personal opinion. I understand your reasoning of wanting to. Hey, look, if we can get rid of all of it now, we can make a run at this thing, but there's no guarantee that that works. The Jets hedging their bet on Aaron Rodgers, to me, we are all clowning as Dolphins fans. Oh my God, how stupid is that? Is he a better quarterback than what's there? Of course he is. Nobody's denying that. Do we think that they'll make them a playoff contender? Yeah. But does anybody really think they're going to be Super Bowl contenders with Aaron Rodgers? I don't. I personally don't. Personal opinion. You might think so. I don't know. Stephen D., your resident neighborhood hope dealer. I like it. I'm going to have to make shirts in the Spider-Man colors that say that. Stephen, hope springs eternal. I'm not mad at some of this. Stephen, a reply to your hoping answer. Hope dies when you have truth. Hope dies when you see the real. The Finns last year showcased that they are good teams. The numbers show this. Let's see how this year turns out, J.R. Black. That's what I'm going to say to you. That's what I'm going to say to you. Leslie Frazier was soft fired, bro. Trust me. No, I don't. I don't, Amicus. Miami jumped the shark with the 5th pick in the 2020 draft. He's the pick that everybody wanted the Dolphins to pick. All right, maybe not everybody, but 90% of the fan base was, yeah, Tua over Justin Herbert all day, every day. And by the way, it's not like Miami, that was their number 1 pick. They called up Cincinnati and offered them 3, rumor is maybe even 4 first-round draft picks for the number 1 overall pick. They said no. They said no. How do you answer me this, Scott, and anybody in general? Let's play that scenario out, or just think about this for a second in detail. Dolphins called up Cincinnati Bengals in the 2020 draft or before it and said, we will give you 4 first-round draft picks this year and the following 3 years, okay, for Joe Burrow. We want Joe Burrow. They said, nope. Joe Burrow's the truth. We love him. We know why you're offering that much, because he's the truth. Okay, fair. Dolphins said, what's our next bet? Do we go after a free agent, a veteran, trade, or do we draft one of these young guys? Well, we haven't really drafted a young guy minus Ryan Tannehill, who, by the way, was a converted wide receiver to quarterback 2 years prior in college football. Oh, yeah, this guy who broke all these records in college football, this guy who's won a national championship, this guy who's played with elite NFL talent, we're going to go with this guy. Yes, we know he had a big injury, but before that injury, everything showed he was going to potentially be the number 1 pick. And even with the prior with Burrow, there still would have been conversations between Burrow and Tua at number 1 if he didn't have that injury. They would have been point blank. Tua would have played out the year. He would have had a great year. And everybody would have been like, man, okay, is it Tua? Is it Burrow? Who's going to be the number 1? Now, I think Burrow would have ultimately won out. Don't get it twisted. But I think there would have been a conversation for it. Now, with that thought process in mind, I want you to think about something. Why are the Dolphins not going after Aaron Rodgers or Lamar Jackson? Because they don't want to give up the first-round picks. Why is that? Because I think deep down inside that if Tua does not work out, they are going to be on the phone with whoever has the number 1 pick for Caleb Williams, and they are going to offer the world for that number 1 pick for Caleb Williams. Personal opinion. 4, 5 first-round picks, a player or 2, give us Caleb. So how are people? I personally wouldn't be mad if that's what they did. But if you go after Aaron or you go after Lamar, who, by the way, has a track record of an injury history just like Tua does and still wants the bag, what do? Would you rather hedge your bet for the future with a young talent like Caleb Williams or any of these young guys coming out next year? There's a few of them next year. I think there's Caleb, there's a drop off, and then there's some really good guys that could have good NFL careers. But I personally believe that if they were willing to give up 4 number 1 picks as alleged rumor for Joe Burrow, I know that it was at least 3, 4 maybe. Then you got to think they're willing to give up at least 4 for Caleb Williams. And I think most teams would say, you're going to give us 4 first-round draft picks for a player? All day. And you'll give us a player or 2? All day. It will be one of the most lopsided trades in history. The Dolphins are going to hedge their full bet on somebody like Caleb Williams if they do that. But to me, that makes the most sense as to what I see the future with the Dolphins if Tua does not work out. So that is the reason I believe, ultimately, the Dolphins are not in on Lamar Jackson or not in on Aaron Rodgers, because the risk does not equal the reward for them. There's no guarantee Lamar makes it through the year healthy, and we're going to be stuck in the same boat, minus the draft picks, minus the money. So Lamar's out the window, in my opinion there. That's why Lamar's not here. He can get hurt. He can get hurt, and I'm not willing to pay him a bag and give up all that draft capital for somebody who we could be literally stuck. The last 2 years, he's played less games than Tua. They're just not going to do it. And I don't blame them for it. And by the way, there's a reason that nobody signed that transition tender tag, I think, right now, too. I think there's teams having conversations for it, but you do have to scratch your head and say, damn, nobody's signing him to this tender? Nobody's willing to make an offer for 2 first-round draft picks for Lamar Jackson? That doesn't make you scratch your head a little bit? Now, ultimately, I just want to throw this out there. I think teams are waiting for the draft and seeing what they can get out of the draft. And then I think you'll see him sign a tender with somebody. But you don't need to tank for Caleb. You can go after this season and then give up the world to go after somebody like Caleb Williams. You don't need to tank. You can be competitive this year, go after, try to win a Super Bowl, see if it works out, and see what happens. You don't need to tank. You don't. So I think my theory is a decent theory. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying, I'm just saying it's a theory that I have. I think ultimately they think, and then, by the way, with Aaron, let me go to Aaron. So we're going to give up a minimum of 2 first-round draft picks because that's why Green Bay's wanting. New York Jets are not wanting to give that up. Okay. And we'll have to pay him a bag. For what? So now we can't go out. Now, I'll say this. If Aaron Rodgers was willing to take $30 to $40 million on a 1-year deal or 2-year deal and like figure out, hey, can we push this back so that there's dead cap money in later years? And we'll let you come, we know that you're probably going to be here for 1 or 2 years. And Green Bay only takes a first-round draft pick and a player, or a first-round draft pick and a mid-round draft pick, then I'm going to be like, I might question why the Dolphins didn't try to make that call behind closed doors. I will question it then. But ultimately, I think he's going to go for at least 2 first-round draft picks. And he's going to get $50 to $60 million a year. So, I mean, that's my opinion. And by the way, Tyreek Hill, his cap hit this year, I think is $1 million. Jalen Ramsey's cap hit is $4 million. So don't give me, oh, look at Tyreek Hill. No, they pushed it off, which is future problems to deal with. I'm not worried about the future. I'm worried about right now. And I think you can sell to those players that if it doesn't work out with Tua this year, hey, we're going to go after Caleb. We're going to give up all this draft capital. We need you to, again, we want to go after this thing. Players are going to be like, I get to stay in Miami for another year or 2, and I get to play with a young phenom like Caleb Williams. All right, we'll give it another year or 2. We'll see what happens. That's why I say 2 to 3 year window. If Tua works out, it's probably a 2-year window. If Tua doesn't work out and they go after somebody like Caleb, it's a 3-year window. And they're going to do everything they can to manipulate the cap and try to keep pushing it back and back until they can try to win this thing. But in my opinion, I'm willing to give up 4, maybe even 5 first-round draft picks for Caleb Williams. Personal opinion. And people are going to think I'm crazy. People are going to be I'm stupid. If Tua does not work out, I'm 100% on board with giving up the world for Caleb Williams. 100%. I am not willing to give up the world for Lamar, and I'm not willing to give up a lot for Aaron, who's going to be here for 1 more year, maybe 2. The man said in the interview, I was 90% retired, 10% coming back. And it wasn't until the Green Bay Packers kind of screwed him over, and he's like, well, I'll show you. I'll just go play another year somewhere else. I think he's coming back to spite the Packers more than anything, more than he really wants to play. Personal opinion. Nobody's 90% retired and then all of a sudden in a span of a couple of days says, you know what? I think I'm going to come back and I'm ready. And now I'm 90% ready to play. No, there's something deeper there. And it comes from a place of vengeance. It comes from a place of I'll show you. It comes from a place of spitefulness. That's where that comes from Aaron. Personal opinion. But, who am I? What do I know? Anyways, and by the way, you're right too, CCR. Drake May is going to be available next year, and maybe the Dolphins like him better than Aaron Rodgers or Lamar Jackson. So hey, instead of saying Caleb Williams, I'll put the caveat on this. The Miami Dolphins front office and head coach like potential drafty quarterback draft picks next year better than they like Lamar or Aaron Rodgers this year. That's a fair statement. That's a fair statement. So now it's not just Caleb, it's Drake May. There's going to be 3 or 4 really good quarterbacks in next year's draft. There's 3 or 4 this year, but there's definitely going to be next year. Drake May, Caleb Williams, both those guys are going to be good. So you're right. You may go first over Williams, depending on what type of year Williams has. Now, I'm just personally in love with Caleb Williams, and I think he's one of the greatest draft prospects in the last 25 years. But maybe you're right about Drake May. So we'll see. But nonetheless, my opinion is the reason they're going with Tua this year is because they like the draft picks better next year than they do waiting 1 or 2 years with Rodgers or 1 or 2 years and hoping that Lamar doesn't get hurt. Just saying. Okay? Just saying. All right. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami Fan Morning Show. I think I got through everything today. Talked about Cheetah and how he's affected this team after 1 year. I think the Dolphins are on the right track. I don't think some of you agree with that, but that's fine. We can all have different opinions. I love you guys. You guys are the best fans in the world. 75 likes. Hit the like button. Over 100 of you in there. Hit the like button before you guys get out of here today. Donate to the channel. Help the channel grow. If you guys aren't a member already, become a member. Sign up, become a member. Or subscribe to the channel. Subscribing is free. If you're a current member, we had a train earlier going of gifting memberships. Let's get a couple new members on the channel today. Okay? Tomorrow is Spread Kindness Friday with my man, Jason Sarney. We're going to go through a lot of stuff. We're going to get ready for the Sweet 16, which I believe starts tonight. So that'll be really good. It's going to be fun. Today we talked about Hopeium. Stephen D, are you sponsored by Subway? Is that why you love Tua so much? No, Amicus. We are all about Hangry Owls here. They have better subs than Publix and Subway. And what? Hangry Owls. Best subs in South Florida. Like it. Anyways, I enjoy everybody here, man. This is good. Flipside Fishing said, great dose of Hopeium. LOL. You guys can talk about my Hopeium all you want. Hope you guys enjoyed the show today. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It was fun hanging out with you. Got a lot of stuff to do. A lot of stuff to talk about. Tomorrow, Jason Sarney. I got some things in the works of some really cool people in the industry coming out. So I think it should be good, man. You know, I'm talking to some people that are pretty big content creators in other places about them coming on and being guests here over the next week. So trying to get Alex Dunno still to come on, been playing tag with him, but hopefully we'll get him. I love you guys. You guys are the best fans in the world. I hope you guys go back and listen to the entire show. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting the show. Go support your fellow content creators everywhere. Wherever they are, go support them by hitting their like buttons, by subscribing to the channel and donating to them. It's all about the love here. It's all about the Fins family. It's all about the Fin laws. And I love everybody, and I want everybody to succeed. And I really mean that. I'm not just saying that. So spread kindness, positivity, and love. And I am your local Hopeium dealer now. You remember that. I'm okay with that. Okay? I will gladly take that mantle and put it up there. Okay? All right. I love you guys. Amicus says, what did you say, Amicus? Stephen D, all jokes aside, you're a nice guy. Respect. I appreciate it, buddy. I appreciate that, Amicus. I try to, man. I try. Hope you all enjoyed everything today. It was a lot of fun. And it should be good as we keep moving forward with everything. And yeah, Fins up. Fins up. Stephen Burr. Whatever, man. Cesar's too funny. Guys, donate to the channel. Help the channel grow. Hit the like button. Remember, hey, look, if you're feeling lonely or you're feeling like the world's coming down and nobody loves you, you're always loved, man. There's always somebody there to talk to you. 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, man. You're loved, man. For people who've lost loved ones, close family members recently, I love you. My prayers are out with you. Shout out to my man, Pete. Love you, brother. Keep doing, keep your head up, man. I'm praying for you and everybody else who's also loved somebody too. And yeah. All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow on Spread Kindness Friday, man. Enjoy. Peace.
He knowing when to go with fit, so we knowing when to switch. This year we got the golden pick. Time to see what that pick about. Bad vibes get sent out. Only fans up in this house. We been waiting, yeah, we been patient. Now it's time to cash out, no discount. Super Bowl, yeah, we in route. I don't know when, but it's close. I don't want to overhype, but I just know I like it. So excited, you gon' notice now. You should notarize it. They say tour from that rock. Shout out to Sophomore and now it's time to lay the smack down. You think you Dwayne Johnson? Time to be the people's champ. Hit 'em with the people's elbows. Sit the